And welcome inside the home office. I'm Craig D'Amico, and this is a special edition. This is NEC Football on the Run, a live stream, a watch along, whatever you want to call it. We're here to sit around and watch football for the next 3 hours or so, and we got quite a football game here tonight. It is one of the biggest midseason NEC football games in quite some time from Saxon Stadium in Erie, Pennsylvania. They're just about ready to kick off. It's the 4-3, 2-0 Duquesne Dukes taking on the 2-4, 2-0 Mercyhurst Lakers, Week 8 of NEC football. Again, I'm Craig D'Amico reporting here live from the home office. Glad to have everybody who just so happens to find our watch-along live stream here that can be sitting around and joining us here today. This game is rich with NEC title implications. Mercyhurst, we know, has never lost an NEC official game just because they've only played 2 of them and they've won both of them. They're 2-0 in their first season playing an official league schedule and conference play, and they're taking on a Duquesne team that has been the upper echelon of the NEC. They have earned at least a share of the conference title each of the last 2 years. They've never won 3 conference championships in a row, and that's something they're trying to do here this year. Now, huge implications in this one because the winner not only stays unbeaten in conference play, but they're going to be in first place, potentially all alone in first place. Right now, Wagner is leading Central Connecticut, who's the 3rd unbeaten team in conference play. So it's possible the winner of this game has the path to themselves all the way to the finish line, but we shall see. Right about ready to kick off, it looks like. Again, a great atmosphere out there in Erie, Pennsylvania, on the lake. And it looks like we'll see Duquesne on offense first. Anthony Doria is 10th year offensive coordinator for Coach Schmidt and the Duquesne Dukes, and their offense is as scary this year as it's ever been. And a lot of it is because of their quarterback, Tyler Redell, who we had a chance to chat with on this week's podcast. And this is a 7th year guy who has a lot of miles under his belt, who's been slinging it and potentially could be a record-setting quarterback this year in the NEC, which I'm sure we'll talk about here over the course of the evening. So he will come out under center, or not under center, under shotgun, it looks like, for this first snap. Yeah, you know, you almost forget that as good as Tyler Redell has been, that Duquesne has some pretty good players at other positions too. Their offensive line is all seniors and grad students. They have some veteran running backs. Taj, the running back, which we could get into here why we call him Taj, the running back, but they have some other talented players as well. And then you go to receiver. They're 3-4 deep. Tough challenge for any defense. That's what Mercyhurst has in front of them here today. Now, we should mention, for those of you just tuning in, like, what is this? What is this that you're watching? And quite frankly, we don't know. We're trying to figure it out here as we go along. Think of this as an alternative commentary stream. You know, you watch Thursday Night Football, you got Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit. Then you could go to the Spanish broadcast. Then you could go to the alternative Prime Vision broadcast. For a while, Dude Perfect was doing like an alternate broadcast. So this is kind of like that. You could kind of choose your broadcast. I'm not going to be speaking Spanish or doing any trick shots or anything here, but if you ever wondered what it would be like to sit around and watch a football game with Craig D'Amico, which I'm sure nobody has thought about that, you'll get a little sense of it here. I do have to mention, and if this could be enough to entice you to stick around, after each team has a possession here, we are going to be doing a little cooking demonstration. We got a nifty cooking demonstration coming up here for a little game day snack. So if you haven't settled down yet with your game day snack, stick with us. Duquesne's possession here after Mercyhurst has their possession. We're going to do a little cooking demonstration, show you a little recipe that you might be able to whip up here and enjoy here during this broadcast. As Duquesne continues to move the football extremely efficiently. You know, Duquesne, for all the accolades that they get with their passing game, and Tyler Redell has gotten so far, and they've certainly been well deserved. We should remind you, they've got, you know, Tyler Redell, he's been sitting out for a lot of the second halves because Duquesne's up so big, especially these last 3 weeks when they've beaten conference opponents, New Haven, Stonehill, St. Francis. He's done his damage in the first half. He stood and watched for a lot of the second half, and the second half has been a lot of Duquesne running the football, trying to run the clock with a big lead. So, yeah, they can pass it. They can put up big numbers that way, but they can certainly run it too. They've gotten a lot of experience with that over the last couple weeks. This is the number 2 total offense in the Northeast Conference, about 355 yards per game. Average about 32 points per game, the number 1 scoring offense in the league. And to be fair, this Mercyhurst defense, I saw them 2 weeks ago, and I was on the call for their game at home against LIU the last time they were at Saxon Stadium. This is a defense, Coach Remigio is the defensive coordinator. This is a defense that's been playing very well. And 2 weeks ago, they started getting turnovers. They had a couple turnovers that led to that victory over LIU. And last week, they started getting sacks, which going into last week's game, this Mercyhurst defense only had 1 sack. Last week, they had 4. So now see if they could put it all together. Can they pressure the quarterback? Can they force turnovers? Can they get off the field? Right now, the answer to that last question is no, because Duquesne is continuing to matriculate this ball down the field. It's been Ness Davis, Ness Davis, Ness Davis, Ness Davis, rush, rush, rush. And there they go again, another rush right up the middle. And they're all the way to the 32-yard line. Let's see if we can take a look at this drive summary. Right now, it's all run plays pretty much for the Duquesne Dukes. Davis, 5 carries. Taj, the running back, with 2 carries. Right now, they got Taj, the running back, lined up to the left of Redell, who's out of the shotgun. And there's Taj again, trying to wear down this Mercyhurst defense. You almost get a sense that Duquesne's kind of like just showing off here. Like, don't forget, hey, we could run too. Now, it's funny, the last couple weeks, Duquesne was not a first quarter team. Up until last week, they only had 14 points in the first quarter all season. And then last week, they scored 28. They returned the opening kickoff 94 yards for a touchdown, and then they got 3 more touchdown drives in the first quarter. In the post-game interview, Coach Schmidt was saying that that was our point of emphasis going into last week. We wanted to get off to a good start, and it looks like the message was received last week, and they're picking up right where they left off in the first quarter here this week. You know, Duquesne, very well coached. They're a very complete team, a lot of weapons, play well offensively, defensively, special teams. Not that many weaknesses. Getting off to good starts, that was one of them. It looks like that they've kind of fixed that. Last week was kind of quick strike. This week they're stringing together a lengthy drive here. The other Achilles heel for Duquesne has been penalties. They're the most penalized team in the NEC. Mercyhurst, the least penalized team in the NEC. So that could be something we keep an eye on. But to this point, we haven't seen any yellow laundry. There we go. All the run to set up the play action. The side of the window got in the way there, but didn't quite see it on the camera angle. I'm sure they'll give it a replay here. It is a Duquesne touchdown. They run it, run it, run it, run it. There's the window getting in the way. We finally get the corner of the end zone there for the touchdown. So let's see. That was 9 run plays in a row for Duquesne to start the game for a total of 55 yards to get down the field. And then on the 10th play of the drive, it's Redell to Joey Isabella for a 20-yard touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone. Joey Isabella putting up big numbers, receiving the football this year. And then for Redell, that is his 19th touchdown pass of the season. He is second in the FCS, first in the NEC in touchdown passes, one of 2 FCS quarterbacks with over 9,000 yards, second active with now 74 career touchdown passes. We had a chance to chat with him this week, and you'll see that interview coming up at halftime. Real down-to-earth guy, extremely intelligent, well, soft-spoken, but he very much thought out his words. So can't wait to show you that. coming up here at halftime during our watch-along live stream here on YouTube. First time ever doing this. Duquesne with a 7-0 lead, getting off to another great start. And now we'll see what Mercyhurst can do. And then after Mercyhurst possesses the ball, we do have a little cooking demonstration coming up. So make sure you stay tuned. Again, if you haven't had your pregame snack yet, we got you covered. We'll do you solid. Don't worry. It's the first game in a while that Duquesne has been on the road. They've been at home for the last month. They had a 3-game homestand, New Haven, Stonehill, St. Francis. The last time they were on the road, it was at Akron, again, almost a month ago. It's about a 2-hour trip, 128 miles separate these two schools. Good special teams coverage there by Duquesne. All right, so we're going to get our first look at the Mercyhurst offense coming out. Thomas Tedeschi in his second year as the offensive coordinator, going up against Mickey Jacobs, the second-year DC of Duquesne. The Dukes, the #1 defense right now in the Northeast Conference. They only yield 335 yards per game. Extremely difficult to run against. They have the #1 rush defense. We saw what Brian Trebell did last week against Wagner, was the offensive player of the week. So we'll see if he can keep that going against the #1 run defense. Mercyhurst, the #3 total offense in the NEC. And they're going to start by rushing. And nowhere to go there. Right back to the line of scrimmage. Trebell had the hat trick last week for Mercyhurst. 2 rushing touchdowns and then a 75-yard receiving touchdown where he just got out streaking down the sideline. Was matched up with a linebacker, and he's going to win that foot race 10 times out of 10. Mercyhurst quickly getting to the line, going no huddle here, not allowing Duquesne to get any substitutions. Looks like there was early movement there somehow, and we're going to get our first penalty. And it will be against the offense. You know, Mercyhurst has started 9 different offensive linemen over the course of the season. They've been trying to find, in some ways, patch it together to try and create running lanes, but also protect the quarterback. They've done a pretty solid job. Adam Urena, good to see him back. He did not start last week's game against Wagner. He was on the sidelines, came out for the opening coin toss, did not play. But he's back in there today. Again, he's a left-handed quarterback. Was pressured to try to get it out into the flat. You know, Adam Urena, a guy we talked with a couple times. He's one of those guys that has the chip on his shoulder. You know, didn't play that much in high school, went junior college route, undersized for the position. Doesn't get that much attention or accolades. He set the single-season passing touchdown record last year in the NEC, and nobody knew about it. So he plays with a chip on his shoulder. And, man, would it make a statement if he could lead the Lakers to a 3-0 start in conference play. A little overthrown right there on that throw. Braden Black, the intended target for Mercyhurst. The Lakers, who in the last 2 games, they've strung together some pretty lengthy scoring drives. That's something that I know Coach Remigio has been very happy about, the sustained drives. In fact, this season, Mercyhurst has 12 scoring drives of 10 plays or more, and 10 out of those 12 drives have been for touchdowns, 2 for field goals, and they've had a first quarter drive of 10-plus plays each of the last 2 games against LIU, against Wagner, and those drives have lasted 9+ minutes. So they were used to stringing together some lengthy drives the last couple games. This time, Duquesne does it to them. The Dukes have a touchdown lead, and it looks like they're going to have some solid field position trying to go up 2 scores, taking over right at the 41-yard line. All right, so we promised, and we will deliver a little cooking segment here. So we wanted, first, full disclosure, first, I'm very good at making popcorn mixes. So we're like, all right, we'll come out and we'll teach everyone how to make a popcorn mix. Yesterday at school, we were doing a movie night, And I just so happened to go into the main office when they had the popcorn cart going. They were getting it ready for that evening. And they're like, here, Mr. D'Amico, is there too much butter? Here, is it too much salt? Here, what do you think now? So like 6 cups later, and off he goes. I won't even let me tell a story. 13-0, just like that. The Dukes, quick strike. We saw them put together the lengthy drive. Now all it took is one play. That's Davis. We got Davis for 59 yards, just like that. All right, back to the popcorn. The way this is going, we might need some stories here the rest of the way. As Duquesne already up 13-0 here with not even halfway through the first quarter. So, so long story short, I ended up with 6 cups of popcorn, and I'm like, okay, we're not going to do popcorn. I'm all popcorned out. So instead, I did some research. What is a signature dish for Erie, Pennsylvania, which is where the game is being held here tonight. And if you Google signature dishes, Erie, Pennsylvania, the very first thing that comes up are these pepperoni balls, these Erie, Pennsylvania pepperoni balls, and there's quite a history to it. In the 1930s, there used to be fish balls where they took dough and they put in scraps of fish. I don't know what kind of fish, but they put it in there, they fried it, and apparently everybody loved it back in the 1930s. But then when you got to the late 30s, the 40s, pepperoni started to become popular. So they substituted the fish for the pepperonis. And then you have your 80s kids like me. In the 1980s, these things boomed. And now they're shipping them out from Erie, Pennsylvania. They're nationwide. The Erie Seawolves, their minor league team became the Erie Pepperoni Balls back in 2023, wearing alternate uniforms and stuff like that. So yeah, this is becoming a big thing. I didn't know about it until I did research, but apparently it's a thing in Erie, and we're going to show you how to make it here. So basically it starts just with regular pizza dough. So take your favorite pizza dough recipe, make it. That's the first thing you need. You also need sliced pepperoni, mozzarella cheese, some marinara. All right, so we got your dough. Let it rise. You can, of course, buy it frozen, whatever you want to do. And then you make them into the size of about a golf ball, like that, right? These individual dough balls, okay? Then what you're going to do, once you have your dough balls, you're going to flatten it out like a pancake, right? So flatten this thing out. Here we go. Flatten it out like a pancake. Then you get your cheese, you get your pepperoni. Now, the people of Erie, Pennsylvania, they are very into their pepperoni. So they recommended like 3 or 4 slices on the bottom. Add your mozzarella cheese. We got some mozzarella cheese. Put 3 or 4 slices on top. Again, they're not shy about their pepperoni in Erie, Pennsylvania. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pinch it all together. So add your pepperoni, add your cheese. Then you're going to pinch everything together back into a ball like that. Roll it up. Okay. Put it on your baking sheet. So you have a whole row of them. Now, this was kind of a debate from my research. You could fry them, deep fry them, which apparently is the preferred authentic method in Erie, Pennsylvania. You could, do your air fry. You could bake them. I baked them. And what I did, I minced up some garlic, put some butter, right? Put in the pan, a little garlic butter right there. And then I took my brush, right? And just right on top of that dough ball, just brush on some garlic butter, okay? Place like that. So then you put these in the oven. You put these in the oven for about 375, maybe for about 15, 20 minutes. And then you'll get your finished dough ball. And coming up after this next possession, I'll show you what the finished product. I mean, if you could be here and smell what I'm smelling right now over in the oven with the garlic, oh, it smells good. Wait till you see these things coming out of the oven. We'll get that for you here coming up after this possession. We'll show you that. Adam Urena throwing it to the far side. Mercyhurst, you don't want to say that this is a must-score drive here, but after giving up the long drive for a score, taking time off the clock, and then the quick strike, down 14 at home, a lot of excitement. Mercyhurst really needs to get something going here. And it doesn't look like they're going to. Fourth down. At one point through like the first four games of the season, we didn't even really know that Mercyhurst had a punter. He only punted like 6 times all season. Mercyhurst, one of the most aggressive fourth down teams in the entire country. But then against South Dakota State, he punted I think 5 or 6 times. You saw him punt a couple times these last 2 weeks. All right, I'm going to get the pizza balls. Be right back. Sit tight. Here we go. All right, wait till you see this. So again, we put them in the oven, or you could deep fry them, or you could do the air fryer, your choice. But 375 for about 15, 20 minutes. And then take a look at this. Look how that came out. Look at the color, right? We got your pepperoni balls, authentic Erie, Pennsylvania pepperoni balls, except for the fact that it's not deep fried. It's baked. All right, so then you get like your marinara sauce. I got some marinara here. You could even put some cheese, right, on top. It's like we're there. We're right there at Saxon Stadium in Erie, Pennsylvania. Watching Duquesne pound it right up the gut of the Mercyhurst Lakers at the moment. All right, here we go. All right. You see in there? There you go. You got your cheese. You got your pepperoni. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, so feel free if you need to step away for a second to get your oven going, start putting together your snacks. Totally understand. We'll be here. One thing we talked about in our podcast this week, Tyler Redell, he's been in our top 3 stars all season long. At the halfway point of the season, it appears that he has the inside track of being the offensive player of the year. But I don't know anybody who's had such an inside track by playing as least amount of time. And again, he doesn't play in second halves. Imagine if he did play all 4 quarters every game, what his numbers would be. It would be ridiculous. A lot of his numbers he's only putting up in like 2 or 3 quarters. You got to really like the Duquesne game plan here. Came out run, waited for the perfect time, got that touchdown to Joey Isabella, continuing to stick with the ground game. And then when they do, they use play action passes. They get, I don't want to say safe, but high percentage throws into the flat. I mean, getting the gains that they need, first down, keep the drive going. Mercyhurst is going to have to tackle. They're going to have to get these running backs down. If they give them second, third efforts, Mercyhurst is not going to be able to get off the field. All right, let me put these pepperoni balls to the side for a second so we can do some business and talk some football here. So you want to quickly review just how we got here. We mentioned the high stakes in this one. Both teams coming in at 2-0 in conference play, and depending on what happens in the Wagner Central Connecticut State game that's going on right now, this could be a game to see who's in sole possession of first place as we pass the halfway point of league play. Who's going to be in the driver's seat? For Duquesne, started the year at Pitt. When I say at Pitt, like, a couple blocks down the road. at Acrisure Stadium. Great experience talking with Coach Schmidt. Even Tyler Redell talked about that. What an experience it was. It was almost like getting baptized into the Yinzer culture, getting a chance to participate in that type of environment. But was a loss, 61-9. They came back the next week, won against Lincoln 55-14. And up until last week, they had 14 points in that first quarter against Lincoln. Those were the only first quarter points they had all season. Then last week they had 28, and now they have 14. So they evened their record at 1-1. Then they played a ranked team in Lehigh, lost that. They lost at Akron. They were 1-3, but then they had 3 straight home games on the Bluff, and they didn't just win them. They won them big. They averaged 416 yards in those 3 games. They won 44-18, 34-14, and 52-7. They weren't even close. They got back on track. They're 2-0 in conference play. And again, this is a team that, as we said at the beginning of this watch along, they're looking for their 3rd straight league title. And for all the great things that the Duquesne Dukes have done in NEC football, they have never won 3 straight conference championships, and that's something they can do this year. You know, you almost forget that they were the champions last year because they lost that last game and they didn't get the FCS bid, but they earned a share of the conference title. And now this year they're going for 3 in a row. Youngstown State, Sacramento State, Montana State, South Dakota State, 4 games, 4 time zones, almost 10,000 miles logged round trip. They were 1-4, but they won back-to-back conference games. Home against LIU. I was there for that one 2 weeks ago. And then last week at Wagner with their backup quarterback, 19-7. So again, big stakes here. Winner of this game goes to 3-0 and could be in sole possession of first place in the league standings. We'll try to take a little break here to give everyone a chance to get their pepperoni ball started. It's coming up here on NEC Front Row, or on our live stream, I should say.
This is awesome, bro. This is what the Devils thrive in.
Lily, say hi to the camera.
The LIU Sharks are champions.
Central Connecticut, they win the NEC. There is Paquette, and she somehow beat the shot clock with a scoop. Oh, what a move by Malachi Davis. The Seahawks' first ever NEC Women's Indoor Crown.
And the goal for the NEC regular season title, it's Lemoyne.
LIU has done it. Back-to-back championships.
The Cougars have won the NEC championship.
With FDU Knights, absolutely perfect.
All right, we are back for the start of the second quarter. The Duquesne Dukes lead Mercyhurst 14-0. Duquesne absolutely dominating this game so far. You look at the rush yards, 146 to -6. 16 rush attempts to 2. Duquesne 9 first downs. Mercyhurst has not had a first down yet. 179 total yards to 6. The 2 Duquesne touchdowns, they had a 20-yard touchdown pass, Tyler Redell to Joey Isabella, and then a long 59-yard touchdown run by Ness Davis. So 14-0 Dukes as we begin the second quarter of play. So you look at the all-time series between these two teams. Mercyhurst all-time 7-2-1. They mostly played in the 80s in Division III. Last year was their first meeting since 1993. Mercyhurst had won the last 7 games in a row. And that game last year, yes, Duquesne won it, as you get another big run here, trying to hurdle over the defender. That's Sean Solomon Jr., one of 3-4 running backs for Duquesne that can make things happen. Duquesne won last year 31-24. It was a game that Mercyhurst actually led in the middle of the third quarter, 17-14. It was tied at 17 going into the fourth quarter. Duquesne had back-to-back touchdown runs to win it, but Mercyhurst last year, first year in the NEC, didn't play a full schedule. They had Duquesne on the ropes for a little bit, and that game was in Pittsburgh. A little bit of a different story here at this one as Duquesne looks to go up 3 scores. Solomon going to get to about the 10-yard line here. So Davis, Taj the running back, Solomon, all getting their runs in. So far, Tyler Redell's only had to pass it 3 times. He's completed all 3 of those passes for 33 yards and a touchdown. Again, everyone, this is our alternate broadcast here on the NEC YouTube. Thanks for watching live along with us here. I'm Craig D'Amico of NEC Football on the Run. Biggest midseason game in quite some time here in the NEC. Usually the last couple of years, the NEC Championship, the automatic bid, it's come down to the last game of the season, winner take all. We've seen that the last couple of years, and we very well could see that this year as well. But man, mid-season with so much at stake, I don't know that we've seen a game like this one in quite some time. That was a good breakup. Inez Jordan there on the pass coverage. Mercyhurst, they brought pressure. They came all in, and they had pressure in the face of Redell, and then they had it well defended in the end zone on the back end. This field goal's good. They'll be down 3 scores, but you can say that's a victory for the Mercyhurst defense right there to hold Duquesne in the red zone. All right, so our first special teams moment of the ball game, and the field goal is up and good. So 17-0 Dukes early on here in the second quarter. So we talked about some of these lengthy, sustainable Mercyhurst drives. They need one of them right now. Last week in the first quarter, they had a 17-play, 88-yard drive that went nearly 9 minutes. The week before I saw them against LIU, they had a 16-play, 80-yard drive that took nearly 10 minutes off the clock. They took over possession when there was 13 minutes to go in the first quarter, and by the time they gave it up, there was under about 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. So we got our stream freezing here. Try to give it a little refresh. There we go. Now the stream went out completely. Again, try to give it a little refresh here. There we go. The announcer has a point. They haven't gotten a first down yet, so get a first down and build upon it. Like that positivity. Want to talk about Saxon Stadium for a second. That's where the Lakers are. We mentioned Duquesne played here before. Coach Schmidt was on some of those staffs in the early 90s that went to Mercyhurst, and he was saying, this is the first time we're actually going to be playing on campus. When he played with Duquesne against Mercyhurst back in the early 90s, they played at the Veterans Stadium, which seated about 10,000 people down the road. The old stadium for the Mercyhurst Lakers. They played there until about 1996 when that field was unavailable, so they had to be creative and come up with an alternative, and they put together this on-campus facility. And again, I was there 2 weeks ago. It was homecoming. It was a great atmosphere that they had there. A lot of pregame tailgating going on, and obviously the team played well that day. They got a win over LIU. So Mercyhurst trying to go with some tempo here, trying to get something going to string together some plays, string together some yards, get some momentum against this Dukes team. Like the hard count, didn't completely cross over the neutral zone. Faked out the cameraman. Yeah, that's one where it's probably good that it wasn't caught, because if it was, that wasn't going anywhere. Yeah, that's not good. Because now if you're the defense, you're thinking obviously this is an obvious passing down situation, so you can get your pressure, you can align your secondary. Oh man, they just completely took him down. He got the ball out, it was incomplete, but the pressure forcing that play to go nowhere. The ball definitely didn't get back to the line of scrimmage, that's for sure. It's not going to matter because it's 4th down coming up. So again, Mercyhurst is going to have to punt. Let's see. Mercyhurst right now with a grand total of 2 yards of offense. 9 plays, 2 yards of offense. 3 and outs. While Duquesne, 202 yards and 3 scoring drives. Just said that. Now, we talked a little bit about the stadium, Saxon Stadium being a great facility. Ooh. Right up against that near sideline. Now we got some words being exchanged over there. Yeah, I don't need to get involved with the officials separate these guys. It was a live football along that near sideline, so you understand going all out for it, but it'll be Duquesne's possession. When I was there 2 weeks ago, I was talking with the security guard who was over by the fence leading up to the field, and it was beautiful weather that day. It was about maybe a little under 80 degrees, high 70s, 80 degrees. And I said to him, hey, first weekend of October, do you think you get weather like this? He's like, no, I mean, 2 weeks from now in the next home game, it could be snowing. Thankfully, today it isn't. It's not quite snowing. It looks to be pretty great weather, and it's a night game under the lights, a rare night game at Mercyhurst. This is their first game under the lights at Saxon Stadium since September of 2023 when they played Lock Haven. First night game in the NEC. And obviously they didn't know. They hoped that they would have been 2-0 in conference, and I'm sure they thought Duquesne would be, pretty high record too. But to have this game shape up the way it is, have this game on campus for Mercyhurst under the lights, I mean, they couldn't have asked for more than this. Probably could have asked for a better start. Duquesne looking to go 4 for 4 in scoring drives. Yeah, just got enough to that 45-yard line for a first down. Now, this week, Mercyhurst had a press conference. They had their athletic director and their head coach, Ryan Remedio, and then a bunch of their student athletes leading up to this game talking about what they envisioned the atmosphere would be. And their wide receiver, Rylan Davidson, who's a grad student, has been here for many years, said, I can't really remember. He remembered that one back in 2023 that we talked about, but can't remember there haven't been that many night games at Saxon Stadium. And he said that this is something that the team's going to be excited about, hyped up for, maybe perhaps a little too overhyped. I don't know, but certainly he was very reflective about this opportunity that was in front of his team. Oh, big turnover. Big turnover. We talked about it 2 weeks ago against LIU. That's when the turnovers started coming. And that was created by the pressure. It was the pressure that forced Redell to almost slip, roll out of the pocket, force him maybe to hurry that up just a little bit and throw it right to that Mercyhurst defender. And if the Lakers are going to get back in this game, that is the opportunity. I do have a stat for you that at this point, 8 games into the season, I don't know that anybody would believe, but this season, the Mercyhurst Lakers have a grand total of 0 points off turnovers. Every turnover they've gotten, they have not turned into points. They need to change that right now, and they have excellent starting field position to do it at the Duquesne 35-yard line. Yeah, he got away from 2 guys, but then he ended up running right into his own offensive lineman. Let's see, Joey Balgo, their left guard, big number 58. Adam Urena got a close-up look at the 58 at the back of his jersey. So you get the turnover. You have a first down play that results in a sack, a loss of 5 yards that puts you behind the sticks for second down. Your second down and long play gets batted away. And now here you are again, 3rd and long. And this is why Mercyhurst has not been able to get a first down or sustain any drive to this point. They've been in 3rd and long all day. And here they are again, trying to take advantage off of a turnover. And this is not in their kicker's field goal range, by the way. So it might be 4-down territory for Mercyhurst. More pressure. Kind of beat the blitz right there. Duquesne sent the guys, and then they just threw a little pass up the middle in that vacated spot. That was Davison that we talked about, making those comments about the night game. But a play like that, again, they're too far for their kicker's range. They're probably too close to punt. They're the team that goes for it more on 4th down than any other team in the nation this year. Yeah, I had a feeling it was 4-down territory. They're 14 for 24, 58% on 4th downs this year. Oh, he had space. He had space. He rolled to the left. He had a pocket to throw with no pressure. And he even had a guy somewhat open in Evan Van Dyke, but knocked away from behind. The Duquesne defense holds, and Mercyhurst is able to turn this. Mercyhurst turns it over on downs. Adam Urena, 3 for 9, throwing the football so far, a grand total of 15 yards. All right, we do have a trivia question for you as we approach halfway through the second quarter, and then we'll have the answer coming up in the third quarter. Our trivia question, last year we mentioned it, Adam Urena set the NEC single-season touchdown pass record with 31. Now, Duquesne quarterback Darius Parentis certainly gave it a go. He finished with 29, which was second to Adam Urena and ended up being 3rd in NEC history at the moment. But the question going back to Urena is, whose record did Adam Urena beat? Who previously had the single season touchdown pass record before Adam Urena came around last year. We'll give you time to think about it or look it up. We'll have the answer coming up later on in the third quarter. That's the kind of stuff you get here on our watch along. You get pepperoni rolls, you get trivia questions, and you got Duquesne up 17-0. By the way, they started the second half out in atop Grimes Hill in Staten Island. Wagner still leading Central Connecticut 14-10. If Central goes down, then this game will decide who finishes Week 8 in sole possession of first place, is in charge of their own destiny, controls their own destiny going forward. Now, if Mercyhurst wins this game, again, Mercyhurst ineligible for the FCS playoffs until at least 2028 as of now. So even if Mercyhurst is in sole possession of first place, the question of who would get the FCS bid, that would obviously still be something that would need to be settled here over the course of the next month and a half, 2 months or so. This Duquesne team, 155 rushing yards per game. They've been over $175 4 times this year on the ground, and they ran for 298 yards against New Haven about 3 weeks ago. And they're doing it with this veteran offensive line. It's all redshirt seniors, grad students. There's not that many offensive lines throughout the entire country that have the experience that the leadership that this Duquesne offensive line does. One of the luxuries that Tyler Redell stepped into this year. Oh, wow. Redell off his back foot just launches it deep inside the 5-yard line and a sliding catch to set up 1st and goal. Joey Isabella making it look easy. Has a 20-yard touchdown pass earlier this game, and now he sets up the Dukes right at the doorstep. Isabella with a touchdown now in 4 straight games, 6 of the last 7. Isabella was going in motion, and we get a timeout here. Lakers trying to find an answer. They got a turnover on the last drive. They could very much use a turnover here. Coming up at the half, you will hear from Tyler Redell. We interviewed him during the week for our regular NEC Football on the Run podcast, which you could check out as part of the NEC Overtime Pod, available wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes each and every Friday during the course of the season. Tyler Redell, one of the most fascinating interviews we've had this season, certainly has a great perspective, has a great story that he shared with us about his journey into football, kind of forced onto him by his stepdad, who he now considers his dad, and found out he was kind of good at it, and it led him all over the country, multiple stops before finally landing at Duquesne. And one of the things I thought was very cool was how much he recognized and how much knowledge he had about his predecessor, Darius Parentis. I mean, the fact that he came in and he knew the history, he knew about the guy before him, he knew the big shoes that he was stepping into. He was well aware of what Darius did for this program. So to see Tyler Redell very cognizant of that and very aware of that and knowledgeable of that, I thought was a really cool thing to see. And that was one of the things that stood out in our conversation, and you'll see that conversation coming up here at halftime. And we have a direct snap. That was Logan Kushner, number 7. Backup quarterback taking the direct snap up the middle. Kushner, a sophomore from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, North Allegheny High School. And now he's going to check back out, and we'll get Redell back in the game. You know, we've seen Mercyhurst do a lot of wildcat, a lot of direct snap to Trebell. That's kind of been one of the keys of their offense. Haven't really seen that here today because they've been in second and long, third and long situations, non-running downs. Haven't had an opportunity really to get the type of offense they want. Oh, did he catch that? No, just couldn't hold on. Isabella looking for another highlight reel one-handed grab. Not that time. Isabella, 3 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown here in this game so far. A nice play action fake going for the slant up the middle into the end zone. Looked like Jermaine Johnson was the intended target, but no penalty flags. Everybody kind of stopped and stood around for a penalty flag. None coming there. And Mercyhurst, the least penalized team in the NEC. Duquesne, the most penalized team in the NEC. That has not been a factor to this point of the game. Fourth down, they're going for it. They nearly got a guy to jump offside. Wow. Somehow able to get back on. Didn't cross over the neutral zone. Mercyhurst with a break right there that they didn't get called for an offside. Going for the hard count. Looked like we're trying just to get him jump offside. They almost did. And now it'll be 4th and goal. Looks from about the 3.5-yard line. They'll take another field goal. Mercyhurst holding in the red zone. If this is a field goal, whether they make it or miss it, it's still going to be a 3-possession game. We should mention Tyler Redell started the game 3 for 3 passing. It was all run game. He's 4 for 9 at the moment. So he's 1 for his last 6, had the interception as part of that. And that'll be through. So 20-0, Duquesne, another scoring drive. So we got 8 plays, 55 yards, just under 4 minutes for a field goal to make it 20-0 for Duquesne. Duquesne with 14 first downs. Mercyhurst with under 5 minutes to go in the first half, still without a first down. They're at negative 15 yards rushing. Grand total of 13 plays run for 0 yards for the Lakers. And again, this is a team that averages 353 yards per game. So, man, I mean, Mercyhurst ran 13 plays, and they have the exact same yard total as we all do sitting here watching this one. Well, Duquesne has certainly lived up to their end. And listen, you get a Jerry Schmidt coach team. Coach Schmidt can motivate the best of them. I'm sure he's like, hey, we're going on the road. We're not the favorites in this one. Poor old Duquesne. I'm sure he rallied the troops to get them up for this one. And they certainly came off the bus ready to go today. Mercyhurst needs some sort of spark. I know they're down 20. I would go with the run game here. Try some of that wildcat. And you can't get into 2nd and 3rd and long. They do go for the run, but it's only going to be a couple. I don't believe that was Strobel. That was Aaron Rodriguez. Yeah, that was a good move coming back to the line of scrimmage a little bit to get around the defender, try to give up some yards to get some yards there. Evan Van Dyke now 3rd down. Can they get their first down of the game? They bring in Trebell. This might be the first Wildcat. We haven't seen it today. This might be it. Yep, there you go. You shift Urena. Trebell now going to get the snap. They have their lineman in motion. Jeez. The big guy was in motion. 78. And I think they got it. Yep, they nose of the football right at the line to gain. Woo. So that was the first one. We talked with Adam Urena about that 2 weeks ago prior to the LIU game. And we were wondering, are you setting up a tendency so that you can break it later in the season? Do you have any variations off that Wildcat? Like if it's a direct snap to Trebell, is it always going to be a run? Or could you come back around with a sweep as the ball's on the floor, it's scooped up and off to the races go Duquesne. Defensive touchdown, and that is disaster. Absolute disaster for Mercyhurst. Grad student linebacker Avery Morris from Humble, Texas, scoops it up and sends it to the end zone. They finally got a first down. Trebell finally got it off the Wildcat. Maybe setting up variations off the Wildcat, like a sweep back to Urena or a toss to Urena for a pass. You could do some other things with it. But they are not able to continue any momentum off of it. They turn it over. Ball hits the ground on the very next play. Scooped up by Avery Morris, who runs it in to make it 27-0. Man, at this rate, we might be making popcorn mix in the second half if this keeps going on. $286-10 is the total yardage. Duquesne has held about a 12-minute advantage in time of possession. And remember, 2 of their scores were quick scores. They had the quick run and then this fumble return for a touchdown. Yeah, sun sets in Erie, Pennsylvania, right off the lake, but I don't know. After that fumble return, the sun might be setting on Mercyhurst's chances here in this one. This was a measuring stick game for Mercyhurst as a program. Year 2 in the NEC, but first year with the full league schedule. They wanted to see how they matched up against a team that many consider is the best in the NEC. And right now, they're not getting the answers they were looking for. Mercyhurst will get at least one more shot here. They were able to get a first down on the last drive. We said that's the starting point. Get a first down. They did on the last drive, so now can they start to string things together here late in the first half before going into the locker room? Take some sort of momentum into halftime. It's a good catch at the 40-yard line. Rylan Davison. A 15-yard completion right there. Good chunk of yardage there on first down as the Lakers try to move quickly. They have 2 timeouts, plus they have the 2-minute timeout. Pressure. You're going to try to get a screen out, a little shovel pass maybe. And And now 2nd and 10 coming up. Again, this is our NEC front row on the run watch along. If you're looking for the full game, you can watch that over on NEC front row. This is our watch along as part of the NEC Football on the Run podcast, which comes your way wherever you get your local podcasts every Friday. Getting a chance to sit and watch, again, one of the biggest mid-season conference games we've had in quite some time here in the NEC. As usually the conference title comes down to the final week. This could be a conference title deciding game here, third Saturday in October. Certainly the biggest game Mercyhurst has hosted at Saxon Stadium since they joined the NEC prior to the start of last year. So Mercyhurst just about ready to crack into Duquesne territory as we get to the 2-minute timeout. It'll be a 3rd down and 2. So far, Mercyhurst 1 for 5 on 3rd downs here today. Didn't convert their first 3rd down until the last series, and then they turned it over on the very next play. Again, coming up at half, we'll show you a little bit of not a little bit, we'll show you the whole thing of the Tyler Redell interview that we did as part of our podcast this week. One thing to note when you watch this interview, for some reason, it's counting down at the beginning. 3, 2, 1, go. Hey everybody, welcome to the NEC Football on the Run interview. We're bringing in Tyler Redell. Just in case anyone's wondering, we didn't edit that, or we didn't not edit that. What happened was, before we recorded, I started cussing like a sailor, and I started, saying all of George Carlin's words, and I gave out my social security number and all that. That part we edited out. We left in the countdown where we were counting down 3, 2, 1. So again, we have it taken care of. There's a method to our madness. So when you see the interview, you're going to see me counting down. Just know there's a whole lot of stuff before that we cut out. So it was edited. It was. So off the 2-minute timeout, Mercyhurst could use some sort of momentum going into the locker room here. Again, this is a Lakers team that was one of the top offenses in the NEC, came in ranked 3rd, 4th in scoring. They average about 20 points per game. This is a team that leads the league in time of possession. We have not seen the long, sustained drives from the Lakers here in this ball game because they've been in 2nd down and long, 3rd down and long. Okay, now I'm gonna be 100% real here. This is annoying. You should not, this should be against the rules. You should not be able to call a timeout coming off of a timeout. If you just had that whole 2-minute break and you can't get your players on the field that you want, that's on you. You can't get out of it by calling timeout. So the Duquesne defense, it was something they didn't like. You had a couple minute break there during the 2-minute timeout to think about that. So if there's something that you don't like, it should be too bad. But they're going to get a timeout. Now each team is left with 2 remaining here. Adam Urena, 6 for 13 for 46 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. 3 completions to Davison, 3 completions to Van Dyke, 2 of his top receivers, and now it looks like we might get the Wildcat again as Urena goes out wide. All right, here we go. We're going to get the variation. Oh, we called it. We said they're setting up tendencies to break the tendencies. Every single time it's been a Wildcat run for Redell. I asked Coach, I asked Adam Urena 2 weeks ago, are there variations to the play? And they both very coyly were like, I don't know, maybe. High register voice. Yeah, so there you go. There are variations. They just couldn't hit it. I give them credit for trying it out. Now, the question is, though, if you're doing that on 3rd down, if you're going for that deep shot on 3rd and short, that kind of tells you you're going for it on 4th and short, but they're sending out the punt, unless this is a fake punt. And now we're going to get a Mercyhurst timeout. If you're going for the shot on 3rd down and short, that should say that you're prepared to go for it on 4th and short. You're down 27-0. I know you don't want to give up another score right before halftime, but Mercyhurst, who was super aggressive against some of the top teams they lost to Sacramento State 49-28, but they were leading in that game, in part because they were aggressive and they went for it in situations like this, and they successfully went for it. So I got to think if they're going to somehow come back from a 27-point hole, if they're going to have they got to go for it here on 4th down. We'll see after this timeout what they decide to do. Do they stick with the punt or do they bring the offense back out? Well, they got Urena out there. So it looks like they're going to go for it. 4th and 2. And they got it. There you go. They're in Duquesne territory. Well done. Well done, Mercyhurst. Into Duquesne territory. You made it. And you're running the football with Redell. Aaron Rodriguez, the back in there with Urena. And Mercyhurst only with 1 timeout remaining, and Urena gets sandwiched. It was a Duquesne meeting at the quarterback. Kevin Kurzinger, it looks like, number 97, got to him. The clock continuing to run. The Lakers with only 1 timeout remaining. And now they're back in their own end. 2nd and 19. 2nd and a mile. Yeah, throwing in a double coverage. There was nothing available downfield. Urena lucky to escape the pocket as Duquesne sent in an extra man and then had a well-defended downfield. No open receivers. Adam Urena thought last year was going to be it. He was kind of taking everything in last year, one last go around with his brother who's a wide receiver on the team. But then in the offseason, they went through some NCAA red tape. He got an extra year of eligibility. Coach called him up, said, "Hey, you want to come back for an extra year?" And he was like, "Serious? Is that a trick question?" Of course. And now here he is. Oh, wrestling for the ball. No, incomplete. Mercyhurst taking shots. Duquesne was ready to pick it off. It was a wrestling match for the football, and the ground won. So now 4th and long. Now you really have to punt here with under a minute to play in the half. Again, Duquesne 222 rushing yards. They're up to Mercyhurst -19 in rushing yards. Overall yardage 286 to 27. Time of possession 19 minutes to about 8. And Mercyhurst leads the league in time of possession. Not today. Mercyhurst 1 for 7 on 3rd down. All the numbers in Duquesne's favor. Now let's see how, does Duquesne want to do anything here? They have 2 timeouts remaining. They certainly have a quick strike offense. Although Redell is 4 for 9 with a touchdown and interception. Most of their damage has been on the ground. Davis with 11 carries for 111 yards and a touchdown. All in the first half. They do come out in the shotgun, and Davis is to the right of Redell. Yeah, 59-yarder on the second drive. It was after a lengthy first drive. They got a quick strike touchdown from Davis, and now here's Davis again. That first touchdown drive was 10 plays, 75 yards, 6 minutes off the clock. It was Redell to Isabella for a 20-yard touchdown. Then they get it back. Davis, 1 play, 59-yard touchdown run. There were a couple of Duquesne field goals. And then a fumble that was returned by Avery Morris for a touchdown. 27-0 at intermission. The winner of this game will stay in first place, possibly in sole possession of first place, depending on what happens in the Central Connecticut Wagner game, which is right now towards the end of the third quarter, all tied at 17. If Wagner can pull off the upset, then whoever wins here will finish the night and finish the week all alone in first place in the conference, just past the halfway point of the season. So it's all Duquesne, 27-0. We'll give you a chance to go to the kitchen, make your pepperoni balls, take a pee, do whatever you have to do. And we'll be back here in just a little bit when they're getting ready to kick things off to start the second half. But for now, we want to share with you our interview with Duquesne quarterback Tyler Redell. We spoke to him earlier this week as part of our NEC Football on the Run podcast. And right now, let's take a quick look at how that conversation went. All right, here we go. NEC Football on the Run in 3, 2. Up next here on NEC Football on the Run, it is time for our Commitment to Success Spotlight, brought to you by Provident Bank. Provident Bank, commitment you can count on. Joining us today is QB1 from the Duquesne Dukes, grad student Tyler Redell. Tyler, welcome to the Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
Now, the Dukes are off to an incredible start this year, 4-3 overall, 2-0 in conference play, beat 3 straight conference opponents, and they really haven't been that close. So what is your assessment of where the team is right now here at this point of the season?
I think we're in a good spot. We created some momentum at the beginning of conference play. It was good to get all of our non-conference games before conference play and not have any linger over into conference play. You really want to get all those out of the way, just to get out all the crinkles and use those games as tune-ups. Now you still try to go win those games, but just use those to really be prepared for conference play.
I do have to ask, one of those games, the opener, playing at Acrisure against Pitt, team right down the road. What was that experience like, getting to play in that environment?
It was a good environment. It meant it meant a little bit more to a lot of people on this team than me, because they're from here,
Sure.
and they may grow up Pitt Panthers fans or whatever the case may be. Maybe they wanted them to offer them and didn't. But as far as myself, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing in the stadium. It's cool that we have 2 away games that are in the city of Pittsburgh. I think that's something we take into consideration as much as we should. But I'm grateful for it.
Now, after that experience, I'm sure being on campus now for a couple months now, have you gotten acclimated to Pittsburgh culture? Like, do you feel like a true Yinzer yet, or are you still kind of on the outside?
I wouldn't say I feel like a true Yinzer yet, but I have
Okay.
embraced this place.
All right.
I am very grateful to be here and happy I landed here out of the portal that time. And I enjoy it here.
Awesome. Well, we knew that whoever was going to be the quarterback this year, big shoes to fill, because Darius Parentis had been amazing the last few years for the Dukes. What was it that attracted you to Duquesne and made you want to continue your journey here?
Outside of football, I would say the ability, the chance to go to college in a city, and have everything you need around you and more. I haven't had that yet, and I've always wanted it. And then as far as on the field, obviously we look at what Darius did, which reflects on the coaching staff, and not to take anything away from Darius. He was a great player, obviously, but and then you look before Darius and you see quarterbacks that have came here and played well on top of him. So you just take that into consideration, and obviously the offensive staff must be doing a pretty good job getting them prepared. And I've learned that they do. Coach Doria does a great job. Coach Schmidt and Coach Hunter also give their input. I think they do a tremendous job.
And I'm sure having the weapons that you do by your side, Joey Isabella, Ryan Patriot, I'm sure that that's a big part of it as well.
Oh, it helps for sure. It helps for sure. We've got some playmakers out there.
Now, twice this year, you produced games of 5 total touchdowns, and you didn't need all 4 quarters even to do it. When you're able to put up numbers and points like that, what does that say about the efficiency of the entire offense as a whole? The offensive line, wide receivers, running backs, coaches. How in sync is everybody in those types of games?
Right. You got to be in sync to be able to be able to have players perform like that. And it all starts up front, and we're very experienced up front. We got a lot of guys up there who have played a lot, and they do a great job for us. And then obviously, as we just mentioned, the guys we have outside that make plays out there. You're not going to be open every play. You got to go take it sometimes, and I think they do a very good job of that. And then if you look in our backfield, we have three backs we play and rotate, frequently. And all three of them are doing a good job.
Absolutely. Now, for you, 18 touchdown passes with at least 5 games, maybe more to go, which is on pace to get close to the NEC single season record, which was just set last year by Adam Urena, your counterpart this week, who had 31 last year. I don't know how big numbers and stats are to you, but if you were to get your name in the record books as the single season touchdown pass record holder, what would your thoughts of that be?
Obviously, that'd be an accomplishment, for anybody. And to be able to end my career with a bang like that would be exciting, to say the least. But if we could just go win every game, I'd be happy. Take it week by week, day by day, not think about, too far down the line here. I'll just focus in on this week.
Now, before we get to the game this week, I want to go a little bit back. Your football journey, you talked about what attracted you to Duquesne, but what was it that attracted you to football? How was it? When was it that you kind of fell in love with the game growing up?
Um, it's hard to pinpoint it. I think sports are something like you get into as kids, and then you kind of just you play all of them and choose whatever your favorite one is. And then it's also like you use it as an escape from reality. You get out there and you're only worried about football, or you get out there and you're only worried about basketball, whatever you play. So it's just a chance to get away from everything. My stepdad, I think, forced me to play football. Um, at the time, he was my stepdad. He's my real father now. But he forced me to play, and I just haven't stopped since. You create so many memories and friends through this game, and you just don't want to give it up.
At what point did you kind of realize, like, you're not just being forced to do, but you're actually pretty good at it on your own, that you had a talent for it? When was that?
Um, probably like middle school flag football. You know, it's kind of easier when it's flag football, but played that and did pretty well, so kind of just stuck with it.
Awesome. Well, let's get to the game this week. Big game against Mercyhurst, two unbeaten teams in conference play. We saw what you did to the number one defense in the league when you played Stonehill a couple weeks ago. Mercyhurst is a highly ranked defense as well. From what you've seen of them on tape, I'm sure, and talked about in meetings this week, what might be a key or two against the Lakers for the Dukes to look out for coming up on Saturday?
Um, Obviously, like you said, they're playing well right now, and they're playing really well together. Um, I think if we're able to just go out there and execute our plan, everybody controls their 2 by 2 square, and we take it play by play, I think we'll be all right. Obviously they do some good things, but you know, I'm rolling with us.
You guys are doing some good things too. I know you're trying to be modest, but I'll say it. You guys have looked pretty well here the first couple weeks of conference play. All right, the final 5 questions here. These are rapid fire, so just first thing that comes to mind, just let it out. All right.
Gotcha.
All right. Your go-to karaoke song.
Um, Riding Solo by I think Jason Derulo, I think.
Okay. Your favorite Halloween costume growing up.
The Elf.
Okay. Which do you prefer, day games or night games?
Day games.
Okay. If we asked your teammates to describe you with a word or a phrase, what word or phrase do you think your teammates would come up with?
Hmm. Maybe Floridian.
Okay, that fits. And finally, fill in the blank here and finish the sentence. Duquesne will win the NEC title this year if.
We take it day by day, game by game, and control what we can control.
Again, it's worked to this point. Thank you so much, Tyler, for joining us. We wish you the best of luck on Saturday and the rest of the season.
Good talking to you, Craig.
Absolutely. You can check out Tyler and the Dukes. Again, monster game Saturday night under the lights, Erie, Pennsylvania. They visit also unbeaten in conference, the Mercyhurst Lakers, 6 p.m. on NEC Front Row. And be sure to check out the full episode of the NEC Football on the Run podcast. It's on the NEC Overtime Pod, wherever you get your podcasts. This has been the Commitment to Success Spotlight, brought to you by Provident Bank. Commitment you can count on.
Hi again, everybody. I'm Paul Dottino with the NEC Notebook, delivered to you by WB Mason. Mercyhurst running back Brian Trobel is the NEC Offensive Player of the Week. He hammered Wagner with 121 yards and 2 touchdowns on 29 carries and caught 2 passes for 75 yards and another score. The Defensive Player of the Week is Central Connecticut State's Malachi Wright. The linebacker posted a career-high 15 tackles to key a road win over Robert Morris. On special teams, it's Duquesne's Joel Capasu. He opened the route over St. Francis with a 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. The Duke's Ryan Petrus takes home his second straight Rookie of the Week award. His 12-yard touchdown catch was his 4th score of the season. We're back on Yes Network, Sportsnet Pittsburgh, and ESPN Plus on Saturday, October 25th with Duquesne and Wagner. Kickoff is at noon. All conference games are streamed live and free on necfrontrow.com, and follow the season on social media at NEC Sports or the web at necsports.com.
Kyle Turner here with the Pick 6. It's the top 6 plays from the past week in NEC football. Number 6. NEC Special Teams Player of the Week, Duquesne's Joel Capasu, goes 94 yards to the house on the opening kickoff.
Out to the 50-yard line. He might go all the way. Opening kick return touchdown, Joel Capasu.
Number 5. Duquesne's Joey Isabella catches this pass from Tyler Redell, hits the defender with the hezzy, and goes 57 yards for the TD.
Good move by Isabella, and he's going to go all the way down the sideline for a touchdown.
Number 4. Mercyhurst Alex Kavaden hits Brian Trobel for this 76-yard catch-and-run touchdown, the longest play from scrimmage in the NEC this year.
Field Trobel, and he's going to take it all the way.
Number 3. NEC Offensive Player of the Week, Mercyhurst Brian Trobel hurdles a defender and gets inside the 5. Trobel would score on the very next play.
Hurdles over Romulus, and he rumbles inside the 5.
Number 2. Central Connecticut's Devin Anderson reads the play and takes this pick 6, 55 yards the other way.
Intercepted, and the return is on, and this is going to be a touchdown on a pick 6.
Number 1. Duquesne's Ness Davis gets amazing height on this hurdle in a win over St. Francis.
From Petrus hurdles him in, and he's still going up the sideline. Oh, wow, what an athletic play from Ness Davis.
Wow.
Well, folks, there you have it. Those are your top 6 plays from the past week in NEC football. Kyle Turner here with the NEC Fast 5. It's the top 5 plays from the past week in NEC sports. Number 5. FDU's Marina Herzako chips the keeper to extend the Knights' lead.
That's chipped up and over the head.
Number 4. New Haven's Peyton Malinowski with a beautiful set from the back line, and Lauren McKellar finishes with the kill.
Gets it down. Outstanding stuff from Peyton Malinowski.
Number 3. Delaware State's Ariana Peregrino with an absolute banger off the volley.
And that's a goal on the second effort.
Number 2. Stonehill's Nate Montero rifles this game winner from just outside the box.
Don't let him shoot! Don't let him shoot, man! Oh, don't let him shoot!
Number 1. As seen on the SportsCenter Top 10, Central Connecticut's Emma Radoncic fires this lefty rocket in a 2-1 win for the Blue Devils. Well, folks, there you have it. Those are your top 5 plays from the past week in NEC sports.
This is awesome, bro. This is what the Devils thrive in.
Lily, say hi to the camera.
The LIU Sharks are champions.
Central Connecticut, they win the NEC. There is Paquette, and she somehow beat the shot clock with a scoop. Oh, what a move by Malachi Davis.
The Seahawks' first ever NEC Women's Indoor Crown. And the goal for the NEC regular season title. It's Lemoyne.
LIU has done it. Back-to-back championships.
The Cougars have won the NEC championship.
With FDU Knights, absolutely perfect.
Hi again, everybody. I'm Paul Dottino with the NEC Notebook, delivered to you by WB Mason. Mercyhurst running back Brian Trobel is the NEC Offensive Player of the Week. He hammered Wagner with 121 yards and 2 touchdowns on 29 carries and caught 2 passes for 75 yards and another score. The Defensive Player of the Week is Central Connecticut State's Malachi Wright. The linebacker posted a career-high 15 tackles to key a road win over Robert Morris. On special teams, it's Duquesne's Joel Capasu. He opened the route over St. Francis with a 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. The Duke's Ryan Petrus takes home his second straight Rookie of the Week award. His 12-yard touchdown catch was his 4th score of the season. We're back on Yes Network, Sportsnet Pittsburgh, and ESPN Plus on Saturday, October 25th with Duquesne at Wagner. Kickoff is at noon. All conference games are streamed live and free on NECFrontRow.com, and follow the season on social media at NEC Sports or the web at NECSports.com.
Kyle Turner here with the NEC Fast 5. It's the top 5 plays from the past week in NEC sports. Number 5. FDU's Marina Herzako chips the keeper to extend the Knights' lead.
That's chipped up and over the head.
Number 4. New Haven's Peyton Malinowski with a beautiful set from the back line, and Lauren McKellar finishes with the kill.
Gets it down. Outstanding stuff from Peyton Malinowski.
Number 3. Delaware State's Ariana Peregrino with an absolute banger off the volley.
And that's a goal on the second effort.
Number 2. Stonehill's Nate Montero rifles this game winner from just outside the box.
Don't let him shoot. Don't let him shoot, man. Don't let him shoot.
Number 1. As seen on the SportsCenter Top 10, Central Connecticut's Emma Radoncic fires this lefty rocket in a 2-1 win for the Blue Devils. Well, folks, there you have it. Those are your top 5 plays from the past week in NEC sports.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back here live inside the home office. I'm Craig D'Amico, and once again, this is our NEC Football on the Run watch along, our special live stream, first time ever, maybe the last time ever, who knows, that we're doing this as we're giving you a chance to watch along with us. One of the biggest midseason NEC football games in quite some time. It's the Mercyhurst Lakers and the Duquesne Dukes, and right now it's all Duquesne. They've come ready to play. It's 27-0 Duquesne here at halftime. Right now they're in a commercial break for the live broadcast. Second half is just moments away. Again, if you'd like to watch the full game with the announcers and all that, you could head on over to NECFrontRow.com or the NEC Front Row app. But in the meantime, we're going to be watching along here with you as we'll see if Mercyhurst has any answers coming out of halftime. We'll look at some of the first half stats. Duquesne 14-3 advantage in terms of first downs. Rushing, they had a 209 to negative 19 yard advantage in rushing. Now, a lot of it is because some of the sacks that Adam Urena has taken has resulted in some of the negative yardage for Mercyhurst. Passing yards, not that much for either quarterback. Tyler Redell is 4 for 9 for only 64 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And Adam Urena is 6 for 16 for 46 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He's been sacked twice. Total yards, it's been 243 to just 27 yards of total offense for the Lakers. 1 interception that was thrown by Duquesne, but that was kind of neutralized and equalized by the fumble that resulted in a touchdown. So each team with a turnover, and of course Duquesne's directly led to scores. The interception that Mercyhurst had, they were not able to turn that into points. They haven't been able to turn a turnover into points all season. Each team with just 1 penalty for 5 yards. Penalties haven't really been that big of an issue. Mercyhurst, the least penalized team in the league. Duquesne, the most penalized team in the league. It's been a 19-minute to about a 10-minute advantage in terms of time of possession for Duquesne. Mercyhurst leads the league in time of possession. They have not been able to get in the flow of their offense. These long, sustained drives, 13, 14, 15 plays, take 9 minutes off the clock, move the ball downfield. They have not been able to get into that rhythm right from the jump, and Duquesne has used that to maintain all the possession themselves. Duquesne's first drive here today was a monster drive, which we'll get to in a second. And then Duquesne 2 for 4 on third downs. Mercyhurst 1 for 7 on third down conversions. Our scoring here today, our scoring summary, as we'll get to the scoring summary here, it was 10 plays, 75 yards, 6 minutes. Duquesne on their initial series going up 7-0 on a Tyler Redell 20-yard touchdown pass to Joey Isabella. Ness Davis then had a 59-yard touchdown run to make it 14-0. Matt Clark added a pair of field goals, and then right before halftime, it was disaster for the Lakers as Brian Trebell fumbled the football. It was on the ground and then scooped up by the Dukes. Avery Morris, who ran it in for the touchdown for Duquesne. Just when Mercyhurst thought they were going to go down, score, get some momentum into the locker room, that was not the case. Duquesne turned it around to 7 points, and they're up 27-0 here at the break. And, of course, this coming after they've won 44-18 against New Haven, 34-14 against Stonehill, which at the time was the number one offense in the NEC, and then 52-7 last week against St. Francis as the Red Flash were coming off a bye week, and it was still 52-7. So the Dukes are rolling right now. With the 3 touchdowns today, they're up to 34 touchdowns scored on the season, and they've shown no signs of slowing down. We'll see if Mercyhurst can get into any sort of rhythm. They are going to get the football first here to start the second half. Again, this game is live under the lights at Saxon Stadium in Erie, Pennsylvania. So glad you could be along with us for this watch along. And if you'd like to watch the full broadcast, you could head on over to necfrontrow.com or the app. So the second half kickoff is underway. It'll go out the back of the end zone for a touchback. And we'll see Mercyhurst on offense here first. You do have to wonder kind of what was said at halftime, what was going on in those 4 walls in that Mercyhurst locker room to kind of get them back into it. And then if you're Duquesne, Coach Schmidt, he's pleased. You see that every single week the last month or so in these post-game press conferences. He's very pleased, very calm, very stoic, and that demeanor of his. But he always likes to mention there's still things we got to improve on. So still improving, still working towards that goal. So as great as that first half is, I'm sure there's things that he was picking apart too on the Duquesne side. All right, here we go. So it'll be from the 25-yard line, just chucking it up to the far sideline, and it's going to be broken up incomplete. Braden Black, the intended target there on the far sideline for Mercyhurst. Mercyhurst's going to have to get these big shots. They're going to have to cash in on one of them, but at the same time, they got to stick with that ground game. They have to find a way to get that ground game going, whether it's Wildcat or whether it's just hand off and let Trebell loose. So you get it to Trobel. He gets a big gain, just about 9 yards right there. Big chunk run for the big back for Mercyhurst. And a lot of people have got to be thinking, okay, where was this in the first half? You were in 2nd and long, 3rd and long. You didn't have a chance to run the football that much. How about we get some of those big bursts and give it to number 2 on 1st and 2nd down, set up a 3rd and short, 3rd and manageable. Maybe stay away from 3rd down altogether. They got big number 78, and again, this could be a Wildcat. We saw it last time. Yep. So they get that short yardage situation, and they go into that Wildcat. It worked very well against some of those highly ranked teams that Mercyhurst played in their non-conference schedule, and it continues to work here in NEC play. And it looks like we got a injured lineman down for Mercyhurst. Blake Hogler, their right guard out of Ohio. Mercyhurst has used 9 different offensive linemen over the course of the season. So they're used to weaving people in and out. And I'll give both teams a chance to kind of retreat back to their huddles. Well, while we have a second here, let's get to our trivia question. Earlier on, we talked about Adam Urena. He set the NEC single season touchdown pass record a year ago with 31. Darius Prentice had 29. DP is third in NEC history now. But whose record did Adam beat? Who did Adam now get it to first place? And who did Adam send down to number 2 in the record books? Who previously had the single season touchdown record before last year? That was Weston Elliott, who had 30. And that touchdown pass record was set relatively recently back in 2021. Now, I can't tell you which team Weston Elliott played for, but how about those Warriors? Those merry Warriors, Stephen Curry, knocking down those threes. The NBA starting up this week. Gotta love those Warriors. So that was the answer to our trivia question. We thank you for playing along here on our NEC football watch along. So we're going to get another big offensive lineman headed off, and Mercyhurst, they've been bringing guys in and out of that starting 5 up front all season long. They're going to have to go on the fly here. Very important drive to start the second half for the Lakers. Quick throw into the slot. Davison. Mercyhurst again getting to midfield. The grad student out of Ohio. The Lakers have done an incredible job recruiting. They have, I believe, 14, 17, somewhere along that, 12. They have 12 players from California. Coach Remedios, of course, from California, so he has that pipeline kind of worked in. But they work Pennsylvania, Ohio. And Coach Remedios talked about how, this past offseason, we recruited a different type of player. Last year when they came to the NEC, their recruiting class was kind of already set. This year, they came in with the mentality that we got a lot of new guys we got to get, and we're recruiting for a Division I program. So it was a shift in their recruiting philosophy. And you could kind of see that with where they were recruiting, the types of players they're recruiting and bringing in, and the way that they've been competing against some of the best teams in the entire country through their non-conference play. They're a team that likes to kind of win in the trenches. As flashy as they are with their quarterback and receivers, they want to win the trenches. Offensive line, defensive line. That's how Coach Remedios wants to win his football games. So Mercyhurst, in a way, tries to turn their program around. In 2010, they won a conference championship, but they really haven't had that much sustained success since then. Since 2015, this is a Lakers team that has had losing seasons 8 of the last 9 years. Their last overall winning season was back in 2019 when they were 6-5. So they're trying to turn things around. They're trying to do it crossing over into Division I and becoming a Northeast Conference team. And in the process, we mentioned their grueling road trip in non-conference play, trying to compete against some of the best teams in the entire country, compete against the Northeast Conference. In Duke's territory here. They're running the football. Their most sustained drive of the night here to start the second half, and they're doing it by running the football. The problem is they're down 27-0. So this is great, and obviously you got to start first with some sort of points here on this drive, but you're not going to be able to have these lengthy drives the rest of the way if you're going to get back into it. Eventually you're going to need some quick strike plays here. Trouble to the right of Urena. Urena trying that hard snap count. The Duke's not biting. Pocket collapsing. Catch made, and slipping away from the tackler to get a couple extra yards. Davison able to stretch out, I believe at the 30-yard line right there. Adam Urena buying some time, stepping up in the pocket. It looked like he was about to take a shot from behind, just able to get that pass off. And now here come the Lakers. They're at the 30-yard line. 1st and 10. Couple pump fakes. Urena throws the ball into the ground as he's thrown into the ground right there. No penalty flag. This is the 29th career start for Adam Urena. Again, he didn't start last week's game. He was in uniform. He was there. Didn't pledge. Vauden got the start and got the win for the Lakers on the road at Wagner. Started off the left tackle. Cut back up the middle. Ryan Trebell, the reigning NEC Player of the Week. The senior from Ohio. Had 3 touchdowns against New Haven. Had 3 touchdowns last week against the Seahawks. He led Mercyhurst last year in rushing. Just had about 445 yards. This year, going to get well past that. A Lakers team that has 56 new faces from last year. That was picked 7th in the preseason poll. Another direct snap, another variation, handoff to Urena, and there we go. They set up the play all year long, waiting to break their habit, and they did it here now twice in the same game. They waited, and to be fair, you can make a case this is the right time. This is the right opponent. We're talking championship implications here in this one, a battle of 2-0 teams. And speaking about 2-0 teams, the other 2-0 team right now, Central Connecticut, tied with Wagner at 17 with about 3 minutes left in the 4th quarter. So we'll keep our eye on that. Meanwhile, eye on Mercyhurst. Great run off the right side. Trobel is in a rhythm right now. This is irresistible force meeting a movable object right here. Did he get to the goal line? Just short. It is going to be enough for a first down, though. So it's going to be 1st and goal from the 1, 3 feet away from a touchdown. Mercyhurst looking to get on the board here in the 3rd quarter. Finally moving the ball. Only problem is it's taking time. Big number 78 is in to block. Play action. No one there. So everything was set up to the left. They had their blocker to the left. They play action fake to the left. And then they throw to the right. And nobody was there. And there is a penalty flag down. Late flag coming in.
Oh, chop block on the Laker offense, and the first mistake of this drive. That'll back them up. And this is the time when you wish that you had that first down. As a 1st and goal away from the goal line makes things tougher.
They're going to step off some yardage and mark it all the way back out to the 16-yard line, it looks like.
So that's a kill. They're at the 1 yard line, and now they're going to get marched all the way back to the 16 with that penalty. So just when the Lakers think they start to get something going, they get set back.
Doing so in a goal-to-go situation, not where you want that. First down and goal. Ball on the 17-yard line.
I guess it's great that it's first and goal, but it's also bad that it's first and goal because now you can't get a first down. You have to get it into the end zone here, and you're all the way back at the 16-yard line.
Trips up top. Urena throws this one into the corner.
Big fade to the corner.
Waiting for the signal. No.
And they say incomplete.
Boy, it was an athletic play, but an
oh, man.
Pass.
I'll tell you what, the Duquesne.
Davison, he thought he had that one. Put up a mild argument.
Dallas Harper, who had the coverage, and he was very fortunate that that was not a touchdown because the ball was well thrown.
That was a strong pass from Urena.
Again, we are doing a watch along here with the Mercyhurst and Duquesne football game. If you're looking for the full game, you can head on over to NEC Front Row, either .com or the app. This is our NEC football on the run watch along here on this Saturday night. Play action fake. Urena out of the camera shot for a second. He ran back into it and got taken back down. Looks like it'll be a short loss on the play, and again, a 3rd and long. Mercyhurst, they've shot themselves in their foot with 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs all day. They had a 1st and goal at the 1. They got a first down right at the 1 yard line, but that ended up actually looks like being a negative because now they can't get another first down. They got a 15-yard penalty back to the 16, and now they have 1st and long, 2nd and long, now 3rd and long. So just when Mercyhurst thought they got something going, a key penalty, shot themselves in the foot here. They got 2 chances to get it in. This is 3rd down.
Of the field, and Mercyhurst also with cheerleaders to the right side as we view the field.
Urena go.
Going end zone. Incomplete, no penalty flag. Duquesne has had things well covered downfield all day. Mercyhurst has tried. They've tried to get their deep shots in, and you credit them for trying. You can't get them if you don't try. But Duquesne, their secondary, they've been tested and they've been well prepared. They've had things well defended all day. And now 4th down, looks like the field goal unit is coming out for
Gotta be careful of taunting,
the Lakers.
And Mercyhurst is going to try to get on the board with a field goal.
The Lakers had 1st and goal at the 2. And it ends up at 4th and goal at the 19. Field goal unit on to try and get on the board. This one up and won't be good.
36, 37-yard field goal attempt, and it's no good.
And a drive that takes up more than half of the 3rd quarter.
So Mercyhurst has their first sustained drive of the entire game. This is what they were looking for, but they're not able to do anything with it. This drive went 17 plays, 56 yards. It took 8 minutes off of the clock, the first drive of the second half, and they come up empty. They had 1st and goal at the 1, and they come up empty. No points. Man, a tough pill to swallow for the Lakers here on their home field, Saxon Stadium, under the lights. A game that a lot of people were looking forward to. Pregame they had a concert out in the parking lot with one of their alum, Garrett Owens, who's a country music singer, moved down to Nashville. Only problem is after Garrett Owens played for Mercyhurst, he then went on to play 2 years for Duquesne. So he's going to be the alum of the winning team no matter what here today. But he had a pregame concert out there in the parking lot prior to this one. You can check out some of his work. This Road I'm On, The Line I'm Walking. Decent songs. You can check that out. He's legit. He sings just as well as he played his football. Back in the spring season of 2021, when there was the spring and the fall seasons, he was a second-team all-conference performer for the Dukes. So played for Mercyhurst, went on to Duquesne, had a lot of success during that pandemic-shortened spring 2021 season, and now he's doing great things down in Nashville.
Be alongside him. Redell. 6:48 left to go, quarter number 3, 27.
So this drive from Mercyhurst took up almost the entire third quarter, didn't result in any points, and now Duquesne, for the first time here in the second half, they get to go on offense. And no surprise, they get off to a rusty start, a false start. I mean, it's been, what, almost 45 minutes, an hour since they've been on offense, so can't blame them for an early movement on their first snap.
One of the toughest things I've found broadcasting mucho events over my years is trying to keep a game that's one-sided entertaining. I hope you haven't left.
Announcers talking about in all their time, they found most difficult trying to keep a one-sided game entertaining. Tell me about it. We made pepperoni balls in the first quarter. That was all we got.
Ball snapped, given up to Ness Davis.
Ness Davis.
For him to run.
I mean, it's taken 2 guys to bring him down.
And it'll go from first
making a run at the NEC Offensive Player of the Week this week.
You know how difficult it is being a hockey announcer. I know you've had your share of games that were one-sided. Whether your team or the opponent was winning, it's tough to keep people tuned in.
Clock continues to tick. 2nd and 7. Ball on the 23.
Yeah, Duquesne in no hurry right now. They have a comfortable margin. If they can drive it down the field and get points while also taking a lot of time off the clock, that would be cherry on top of the sundae.
Davis finds a hole. 1 man to beat, and he's got a lot of room to go. Finds this one over to the sideline.
And another big run.
As the defender in the second tier.
As we are also keeping an eye on the Central Connecticut State Wagner game. Central Connecticut has the ball with about 2.5 to go, just in front of the 2-minute timeout. Game tied at 17. Central looking to, at this point, steal one on the road. Now we're under 2 minutes to go in that game. Wagner was up in that game. They got off to an early lead. Central Connecticut State is the team that has the most takeaways in the NEC. Wagner has the most giveaways in the NEC. And Wagner took advantage of an early Central turnover, flipped the script on the Blue Devils, and got off to an early lead. But Central has managed to battle back. We know Central Connecticut games every single week. They've come down to the final 2 minutes, the final minute of the fourth quarter, even overtime we've seen. So this Central Connecticut State game we got going on tonight is pretty much according on serve, according to plan, with how Central Connecticut State has been playing this year. And again, Central trying to go to 3-0 in conference play, which would be tied with the winner of this game. If Central should fall, then the winner of this game would be all alone in sole possession of first place in the NEC.
2nd and 6, ball on the 43-yard line.
And Central Connecticut State, by the way, they are off next week, so they're looking to escape Staten Island with a win and then get a week off.
Left wing side and find its way in for another first down. Reception.
You know, Duquesne, they are playing smart. They're running the football. They're getting big gains from it. And then when they do put it up in the passing game, it's these safe screen plays in the flat. Don't have to be dangerous. Don't have to throw it into double coverage. Right? Just guy open in the flat for a couple yards. It's as good as a run at this point.
Earlier on in this game in the second half, or in the first half, excuse me, but right there, you give the ball to your receiver, you see what they can do, and Boyd turns it into a first down for you. 1st and 10, ball in the 44.
Unofficially 14 carries, 144 yards.
In Mercyhurst territory at the 44-yard line.
This one will go to Solomon. Solomon, who's been one of the 3 backs. We haven't seen Taj Butts since about the 2nd or 3rd drive of this game.
Solomon with Davis, Taj the running back, 3-headed monster for Coach Schmidt and the Duquesne Dukes, a team that we mentioned earlier, one of the top rushing offenses in the NEC. They started the week at number 2 in the league, over 150 rush yards per game. Right now, they're over 250 rush yards here in this game today.
Redell looks over to the sideline. 2 receivers to the top
Redell,
of the screen,
who's
one to
second
the bottom.
active in all of FCS football in both yards and touchdown passes behind Derek Robertson.
Softly gives this one back and met pretty immediately is Solomon.
Today, 54th career game for Redell, 3rd among all active players.
Initial hit defender for the
So
Lakers
much
came in trying to
experience.
take that one right away.
So much confidence he brings
Turns into a
to this
third
offense
down
as
and
well.
6, so no gain on that
And
rush.
talking with him, you saw in the halftime
Opportunity for
interview,
the Laker
very
defense to do what
cognizant and
they've
aware
done
of all the weapons that he
very
has at
commendable
his
job of
disposal.
recently, which is, of course,
Wide receivers,
stopping
running backs, the
possessions
offensive
from
line
turning
he's
into
playing
points.
behind.
Again, the last defensive touchdown, or the last touchdown allowed by the defense of the Lakers came to make it a 14-0 game. It was 2 field goals and then an offensive
Empty
fumble that
backfield
turned
set
into a
here
defensive
for
touchdown.
Duquesne. Haven't seen that much of this
All alone
here in
backfield
this
is
game.
Redell, and he's going to pass here on 3rd and 6. Pocket
And he's going to
collapses.
take it.
He'll use his own
He's
feet.
going to
He's done
take
a
it
few
himself.
times today, and he's gonna gain even
Wow.
more. Redell
Wow.
running down to the 17-yard line.
Yeah, you do have a reason to be pumped. Look at that.
To not take a hit, but when Redell's as tough as he is, he's gonna
Empty
get the first
set
down
for
and get you
maybe
to
the
red
first
zone.
time this game. One of the first times this game. Pocket collapses all around him, leaves like a parting of the Red Sea right up the middle.
Defensive back for Mercyhurst.
And he can show he can run it too. We've seen games this year where he's had a couple of rushing touchdowns. Takes off, heads downfield.
Do anything consistently tonight. They had their best drive to
A
start.
gain of 23 yards right there on that run.
On a missed field goal, and Duquesne has come right back and has taken it from the 19-yard line all the way down to the Mercyhurst. What is that?
Solomon
17.
lined up to the right of
two
Redell, and
starts that actually started their real drive.
we got a whistle
at the
before this
10-yard
snap
line.
here.
When you look at all that, this has been cumulatively a 90-yard drive. We'll get a timeout here, and that gives me a chance to update the viewers. Again, this is 2 of the 3 undefeated teams in the NEC.
Wagner, Central Connecticut, under a
Central
minute to
Connecticut
go.
State University.
Wagner
They are
now
in
with
a
the football.
17-17 brawl with the Wagner
Andre
Seahawks with under
Hines,
2 minutes left to go in the game. It's Wagner's
who
homecoming.
along with Elijah Howard, along with Trebell, along with Ness Davis, some of the best running backs in the league. So with the 2 games going on here, the end of that game out in Staten Island and this game going on here in Pennsylvania, we got a quartet of some pretty elite running backs, but Hines right now is running the football into Central Territory as Wagner tries to get maybe into field goal range to try for a walk-off field goal against the Blue Devils. So we'll keep an eye on that one as Central tries to stay unbeaten going into their bye week. Wagner trying to pull off the upset.
As yet, Robert Morris 0-1, Wagner 0-1. LIU 0-2 and St. Francis 0-2.
Sounds like they're playing Sweet Caroline over there at Mercyhurst, trying to keep the fans in it despite being down 27-0. So I gotta get this out there. So I do public address announcing for high school football, and I get requests from the team for which songs they want to play in game. And I've had this argument for years. Like, look, pre-game, you can request whatever songs you want. You guys are warming up. That's your time. We could play all of your songs. That's fine. But when the game starts, that's like mom, grandma, that's the audience. That audience doesn't want to hear your songs. Like, there's a little bit of a difference there. So I'm of the opinion that in game, we play for the family crowd. We're not playing, we don't play requests for the players, but that's just me. So I like the Sweet Caroline because that would fall within family atmosphere type music. So I like it. Good job there by the Saxon Stadium DJ. We got a holding call there on Duquesne. So it's going to move them back a little bit, stall this drive just a tad. But really, can anything? I mean, nothing really has been able to stall Duquesne.
Duquesne ball will be at about the 29.5-yard line.
Up to 354.
So a long first down. They haven't had troubles with that.
I beg your pardon.
So far.
Let's see, Duquesne. They're up to 346, so it's pretty close. 346 yards of offense. Updated right now.
Hurst will entertain Stonehill.
Davis behind Redell, man in motion. Tighten things up on the line. Redell keeps this one himself.
All day. Redell has all day, throws it to the end zone and incomplete.
Who was the same target that received that pass that did not count on the holding.
Canty, looking for Noah Canty as tight end. We look at some out-of-town scores around the NEC. Yale all over Stonehill today. 47-7. LIU able to win at home against Robert Morris. Lucas Danzani was back. As was Robert Morris's quarterback, Both quarterbacks were back, but LIU wins at 17-7. We mentioned right now Wagner and Central Connecticut State tied at 17, which is about 30 seconds to go. And then, of course, 27-0. Duquesne over Mercyhurst. New Haven and St. Francis both on byes this week. So they're sitting here watching with the rest of us, maybe even in this watch-along.
Davis, initial touch, scatters forward for about 4 yards.
Davis is up to 144 yards rushing. Solomon with 65, and Taj, the running back, with 40 yards on 7 carries, most coming way back in the first half. Taj really hasn't seen that much action here coming out of the locker room.
Ball on the 19-yard line. Mercyhurst defense in the red zone in the last few trips there has resulted in 2
So it looks like Wagner punted the football away. Brady Olson of Central took a knee. So once again, Central Connecticut State going to overtime against Wagner. So we'll keep our eye on that game.
2 back with Redell, including Davis. Davis gets the ball
as here come the Dukes. They give it back to Davis. Which at this point, that's a pretty good, I mean, you don't have to be a super offensive coordinator play call to dial that one up. Hand off to Davis the way this one's going.
And they will take this one into quarter number 4. The first scoreless.
All right, so that'll be the last play of the third quarter as the clock ticks down. If you're still with us here on this watch along, bless your heart. We still got one more quarter to go. Anything can still happen. The winner of this game goes to 3-0 in conference play. Our watch along continues right after this quick timeout. Right here on our NEC Football on the Run watch along live stream YouTube special.
Timeout before we head into the final.
Kyle Turner here with the NEC Fast 5.
This is awesome, bro. This is what the Devils thrive in.
NEC Sports.
No, you say
Number
hi
5,
to the camera.
FDU's Marina Hosako chips the keeper to extend the Knights' lead.
The LIU Sharks are champions.
And over the head.
Number 4, New Haven's Peyton Malinowski with a beautiful set from the back line, and Warren McKellar finishes
Central
with the kill.
Connecticut, they win the NEC.
Outstanding stuff from Peyton Malinowski.
The shot clock with a scoop. Oh, what a move by Malachi Davis. The Seahawks' first ever NEC Women's Indoor Crown.
And the goal for the NEC regular season title. It's Lemoyne.
LIU has done it. Back-to-back championships. The Cougars have won the NEC championship.
With FDU Knights. Absolutely perfect.
All right, we welcome you back live inside the home office. I'm Craig D'Amico, and this is our NEC Football on the Run live stream watch along. Mercyhurst and Duquesne, battle of two 2-0 teams. Duquesne will tack on their third field goal of the game.
30-0 in favor of Duquesne.
And they go up now 30-0. So that third quarter, and again, that was the first play of the fourth quarter. That third quarter was pretty much exclusively just 2 drives. Coming out of the locker room, we had an 18-play, 56-yard, 8-minute drive for Mercyhurst that ended with no points. And then Duquesne followed that around by going 11 plays, 61 yards in 6 minutes, 48 seconds for a field goal that ended up being good. So the third quarter was really just 2 drives, 1 for each team. And then Duquesne on the first play of the fourth quarter was able to add on a field goal to take a 30-0 lead. Again, the third field goal of the game for their kicker, Matt Clark, who's 3 for 3 here on the afternoon/evening. So Duquesne with the advantage right now. And again, Wagner, Central Connecticut, headed to overtime in that one. Our unbeaten teams, 3 left in the NEC at the moment. 1 hanging in the balance out in Staten Island, and then, of course, 1 team is going to fall here in this one. Just to go over some of the stats once again, it's 294 rushing for the Duquesne Dukes. They lead 360-98 in total yards. They've controlled time of possession. Listen to this. 41 minutes to 18 and a half. Whew.
Fourth quarter, ready to get
I mean,
underway
the
here.
Mercyhurst
Duquesne
defense
adding
must
on
be
their
gassed to
27-0
this
lead
point.
with a 30 with a
Duquesne
field goal
3
at the
for
end of
6
the
on
third
third down.
quarter. And that makes
Mercyhurst
it
4 for 11 on third
Duquesne
down today.
in a second half that started
It's
so positively
30
looking
to
for the
nothing
Mercyhurst Lakers. They come up short
as
and allow
Duquesne
a
looks
long
to
drive that results
start
in 3
3
points
and
a
0 in
30-point
conference
deficit.
play once again. And by the way,
Back, this will be short
Duquesne
the
at
end
30
zone.
points
Picked up,
since
and the
the
Lakers
start
will
of the
look to return.
2023 season.
Going up at the 20,
The Dukes
then
are
about the
16
24,
and
maybe
0
rolling forward to the
when they
25.
score
So
30 points or more, and they're at
results in
30
there would have ended up
points
if it were
right
a
now.
touchback anyway.
I believe that was Jonathan Askew. By the way, that gust of wind
Duquesne
you
looking
may
to
have
go
felt
to 3-0 for a
back,
third straight
when you're
year. They're
watching
2-0
and
in
listening to
conference
this
for the
broadcast
6th time in
the third
7
quarter
years.
was the air
Looking to go to
leaving
3-0
the
in league play for the third straight
Mercyhurst
year
balloon
again.
after
The
driving
Dukes
deep into
will be
Duquesne
at
territory
Wagner
and coming
next
up
week. So
empty.
Wagner giving
Mercyhurst
Central all sorts of problems today.
is in
Wagner will
danger
get
of
Duquesne
losing
coming to
its first
town
home game
next
of
week.
2025.
As Duquesne
Duquesne
continues
came in
their
0-2 on the
road
road,
show. We mentioned 3 straight
and it
games
appears
at
destined
home
to
for the
pick up
Dukes.
its
They're going to
first
be on the
road win
road,
of
I believe,
2025.
5 of their last 6. So the
Urena
road to
looking
a
to lead a
third straight league championship for the Dukes would literally be on the road pretty much the rest of the way.
Had it in the hands, bobbled it, fell
Yeah,
to the earth,
Mercyhurst
and
at
so
this
did the
time, at this
ball.
point, they got to
Makes the
take their
second and 10 at the
shots.
26, and really
They've
that
been winning
drive is the
games with the
defining play of
sustained
game.
drives. They've been winning
Lakers
games with
got
the
down
run
to
game.
2-yard line. They
You're
ate
down
about
30
7
nothing
to
with
8
14 minutes to
of
go. You
the
can't be.
first, part of
You don't have
quarter
time
number
for too
3.
many, you know,
Shot
17
block.
play,
Only the second
12-minute
penalty
drives
taken
right
by
now.
the
You got to
Lakers.
get points, and you got to
Moves
get
them
points
back, and they
fast.
just keep going backwards. They get an opportunity to cut into the lead, and they miss a field goal to the left. Second and 10 at the 26.
Adam Urena talking with him 2 weeks
Free
ago
snap.
about a comparison
collected here by
quarterback he
Urena.
looks up to.
Looks
He picked
left,
Drew
throws
Brees,
right,
which
and a little bit
is the
too
perfect
far out
comparison, an
wide to
undersized
his
guy,
receiver, Dylan Evans, brings
but a
up
guy who
3rd
could
and
sling
10.
it.
But a
And of course,
flag
Adam
will
Urena,
come out
left-hander,
as the
which
Laker was down on the field
you know,
after
presents
the
all
result
sorts of
the play.
differences
That was
and
Joey
challenges that both
Balgo, the
his
left
team
guard.
and the other team have to adjust to. We mentioned it on our podcast this week. Last week
Lakers
when
might make up a
Urena
few
didn't
yards
play
here,
and
thanks to
Javaden
the
got
piece
to
of
start,
laundry on the
Javaden's a
field.
right-handed quarterback. So, you know, Mercyhurst, I'm sure, knew in advance that there would be a potential that
for the official
the
call,
right-handed quarterback could start. So that
14:45
means
clock.
flipping around your entire offense. You know, certainly working out some things. So left-handed to
Officials
right-handed
separate the
certainly
two
could be a
sides.
challenge for
Quick
both sides.
explanation. A call on each
We got
side.
personal fouls on both sides. Dead ball personal fouls on both the
personal
offense
fouls,
and
one
the
inflicted each
defense.
side. And so no movement in either direction as a result of the piece of laundry on the field. Will remain 3rd and 10.
So it'll
Ball
stay
at
3rd and
26,
10 at
two
the
incomplete passes
26-yard
thrown by
line.
Urena
Couple of incompletions for
on this
Urena.
drive.
Urena now 9 of 26 on the game. He threw 52
Yeah,
times a year
Urena, one of the
ago.
most accurate quarterbacks in the NEC. Not today. Duquesne has
14,
pressured him,
45, just 15
forced him into
seconds
some
gone by to
quick
start
throws
off the
that he
fourth quarter.
didn't necessarily want to make, and then downfield they
Urena
had the
got trouble behind
Mercyhurst
him.
receivers well defended.
Urena tries the hard count, wanted to make the Dukes jump unsuccessfully.
Dukes with 3 down linemen in the defense.
Rushing the
Urena
extra man, throw to
hits
the
off of
far side, and
fingertips
that's
at
kind of
about
what
the
we've been
first
talking
down
about all
marker,
game.
incomplete.
There's kind of been a
That'll be a 3
blanket
and
or a
out
cover
for the Lakers.
on this Duquesne secondary,
punt team
keeping
will
the
come out.
receivers in front of
Lieutenant
them,
Dylan
and then
Evans,
every
who thought
time
he might
they've
have
thrown,
been
whether it
interfered
been
with,
to the
didn't
far
get the
sidelines
call.
or taking a shot downfield, it's been in double
Mercyhurst
coverage.
again
There have been
will
multiple
relinquish
members
the
of the
football.
Duquesne secondary there to deflect
from
just about
the
every
kickoff,
single
it
pass
was
that has
moved upfield
gone to a receiver
to
outside the
3
hashes.
and out. All in all, that took 19 seconds for the Lakers. And they will bring back out punter Garrett McGuire, who's been quite busy here tonight. Flags come out, movement before the snap. Now we've got some discussions between both sides.
Flags, officials trying to step in and
they'll separate the Lakers
pull
and the
these
Duke.
teams apart.
Still waiting for what to call on the official.
One thing that
first
Mercyhurst
flag
said,
thrown was-
I
Well,
believe
things
their
are getting a little
AD, their
chippy right
coach,
now,
and
which is
some of the
certainly
players,
understandable.
that they were hopeful
Mercyhurst
that
is
this could be
frustrated.
a potential rivalry of the future. That this is a budding rivalry between these two schools. Obviously, both Pennsylvania schools separated by 128 miles, about a 2-hour drive, separating Pittsburgh from Erie out in the Keystone State. So, Adam Uranus said, they think they're a good team. We think we're a good team too. And, this playing a potential rival under the lights. Mercyhurst certainly talking up the fact that this could be a rivalry of the future, especially if both these teams are going to be in, contending year in and year out. We know Duquesne is. Mercyhurst certainly hopes to be.
The snap and
throwing the fact that they're within 2 hours driving distance of each other. This could be a potential budding rivalry, but we don't want to see things boiling over, especially late in this game. So we saw the offsetting penalties moments ago, and then prior to the punt, we had the official there trying to keep these guys separated.
Well, the disappointing part really is that the Laker defense.
So we do have here in the fourth quarter some famous alums. Both sides have some famous alumni. So let's run you through some of the names that you might recognize from Duquesne. We have Terry McGovern, who's the voice of Darkwing Duck, voice actor. Luca Crucifino in NXT. For WWE, former offensive lineman. And then, of course, the Roonies, Art and Dan Rooney, Duquesne alums. And then for Mercyhurst, Megan Agosta, former women's hockey player with the Lakers, 3-time Olympic gold medalist for Team Canada, one of their top alums. How about Buster Douglas? Also Brandon Staley, who spent 1 year at Mercyhurst, became the head coach of the LA Chargers, now defensive coordinator, I believe, in New Orleans. So both sides with their famous alumni as they go head-to-head here. And again, that's the kind of stuff you can expect here on a watch-along. We have recipes. We're cooking up pepperoni balls here, which is an Erie, Pennsylvania staple. Going through some stories, talking about famous alumni, trivia questions. This is your ultimate alternative, the NEC Front Row on the Run live watch-along. So glad you could be along with us, especially at this point, 30-0.
Comfortably ahead, 30-0.
Well, despite the thrills and antics.
Well, we do have a final in Staten Island. It's 24-17 Central Connecticut State. Once again, they do their dramatics. They can never have it easy. They always like giving themselves a little bit of a challenge. Today, they come from behind, take it to overtime, and end up winning 24-17 in the extra session to move to 3-0 in conference play. So the winner of this game will join Central Connecticut atop the standings at 3-0. As we head to the halfway point of the season. Of course, both of these teams still play Central Connecticut head-to-head going forward. So Duquesne will have their shot, as will Mercyhurst. Mercyhurst Central Connecticut is actually the final game of the regular season out in New Britain. So we mentioned the last couple of years, the NEC Championship has gone down to the final game. Could very well be that game here this year.
Solomon takes it. Solomon. Little juke out to the left or out to the right side near the bottom of your screen. Extra motion forward, and he does get a first down and a change of downs for the Dukes. They have crossed half field.
So let's see how this one ended. Brady Olson rushing for an 11-yard touchdown in overtime to give Central Connecticut State the lead.
On the stop for Mercyhurst.
And that ended up winning it. And then Wagner had an opportunity to answer. They go 4 and out, can't pick up a first down, and Central Connecticut's able to hold on and win it.
Lined up right alongside Redell.
Brady Olson, we should know, he only threw 1 interception all season. He threw 2 interceptions here today, so an uncharacteristic type day for Brady Olson, getting to watch a little bit of that game prior to the start of our watch-along here. Brady Olson looked a little bit out of sync. He had some high throws, was not quite as on target and locked in as he's been in the past. Threw a couple interceptions in that game after 1 all season, but somehow Central is still able to escape. And you guess that's the sign of a true champion, when you don't play your best and you're still able to solve problems, figure it out, and escape with wins. So it'll be a happy bus ride back to New Britain, a good off week for the Blue Devils, as no matter what, they will be in first place at the end of this week and next week. Central will be back in action in 2 weeks.
That is one of the first times that we have seen a ground play for this Duke team not result in positive yardage.
A rare run for a loss right there.
We've seen for the Duquesne Dukes, and it results in a loss of a yard.
DeJohn Hopkins
Yeah,
loses a
Duquesne
yard.
has well over 200 yards on the ground.
We've seen Davis with 158, Solomon with 77. Butts played the majority of the first half, got 40 yards on 7 carries. Even Redell had a 23-yard long run. He had 31 rushing yards overall.
Redell, he'll swing out left wing side, looking for somewhere to go.
Redell, a little unusual for him to still be playing here in the fourth quarter with this type of lead, but he's in there here in the fourth quarter here today. We mentioned this earlier, the trivia question, Adam Urena, the single-season touchdown pass leader. Redell now with his 1 touchdown pass today, now up to 19. Still 4 more games after today, maybe 5 if they get in the FCS playoffs. If he throws 2 or 3 touchdowns per game, Redell could be in line to be the new record holder in the NEC. And we talked about that with him at our chat this week on the podcast. He said that'd be cool. I mean, he's just coming in for 1 year, so to make that kind, he's filling the big shoes of Darius Parentis. So to come in and make that kind of mark seems like it would mean a lot to him, but still a ways to go for that.
Up into the air, will find its way to the end zone. It'll die right at the 1, but then has a little extra gas on it. Goes in for a touchback. And once again, Lakers and Dukes convene near the Duke sideline. Mercyhurst will get the offensive drive going with 10:28 left to go. Listen, all the credit in the world due to this Mercyhurst defense. They have had 3 straight trips to the red zone.
There we go.
Okay, so to the red zone after the initial
30-0 with just about 10 minutes to go.
A stop on 3rd down.
Mercyhurst, they've shown some promise here, as the announcers are kind of talking about, but
hole that was opened up
haven't been able to result in any points.
Not a terrific day at the office, but
every single time they've been able to sustain something or get something or get a spark, they've shot themselves in their own foot. Last time it was a penalty. Earlier on, it was a fumble. They finally converted their first down of the game with the Wildcat. On the very next play, they put it on the ground, and it's 6 points the other direction.
Urena back at the 20-yard line on the other side of the touchback on the punt. He'll be back to pass. Urena
still taking shots, going to the near sideline. This one's going to draw a flag.
A free 15 for the Lakers, and a good job done by the wide receiver to be able to
Shaquille Ferguson, the wide receiver there, number 84, drawing the penalty.
We believe the interference penalty was against Donovan Stanley, number 20. Urena's going to throw the football practically every down now.
And we'll be passing interference on the defense, so a 15-yard penalty on the Dukes.
Calls we mentioned, or Sean mentioned.
Duquesne, the most penalized team in the Northeast Conference.
Penalty for
5 penalties for 40 yards here today after that last one.
And he will get up.
And we have a down Duke. That's their defensive lineman, Ish Finleiter.
Actually, I think it might have been a Duquesne player.
From Toronto.
Yes.
Sean Solomon.
You're correct.
No problem.
10:22 to go. Free 15 yards for the Mercyhurst Lakers. First down and 10, up at the 35-yard line. And a good effort, of course, as we had mentioned, from Shaquille Ferguson. Man, a little too
Lakers,
far in his
program
way,
that began as a Division III team in the 80s and early 90s, moved up to D2, originally an independent.
Fourth quarter.
Was in the
Mercyhurst,
PSAC, mentioned 2010 conference champions.
Absolutely. You got a game against Stonehill next week. That's what you got to look
But now trying to turn their program around
will be pulled down for
as they make the move into the Northeast Conference, and Urena is taken down for another sack.
And a negative play goes backwards as a result of yet another sack from the pressure of the defense of the Dukes.
What is that, number 4?
The Dukes continue to point to the scoreboard after every tackle.
Sack number 4 on Adam Urena.
Continued.
I tell you what, this is going to be one to watch, this rivalry. The way things have gone in the NEC, rivalries have kind of gone in and out. Now I got a towel thrown.
Tick down. Now we get a stoppage on the clock. out from the
I
quarterback
mean, there
position
used to
will
be so
go
many
Urena.
rivalries in this league over the course of 30 years.
And in will
You
come
could have
Alex
your own
Gubinin.
rivalry week.
Javaden,
Now,
excuse me.
you know, not
Alex
as many
Javaden comes in
natural
as
rivalries
Urena, I believe, had
in
an
this league,
equipment
but
issue.
there could be something
Duquesne
here.
had 4
Just we've seen
sacks
some of the
last year.
chippiness.
And,
Both obviously coming in with
at least 4
2-0 records, so
in
you
this
throw
game.
the high stakes
So first
in
snap
there
we'll
as
see
well.
from Javaden under quarterback, wearing the number 12. Javaden in the backfield.
Javaden
sends
is
this
in the
one
game.
out right to the man, perfectly
Immediately
into
throws
his
a
hands.
completion. Number
That is a
12, he got the
well-placed
start
ball.
last week against
And
Wagner.
that is close to
And
a
now
first
here he
down
is,
marker. Corralled in by
relieving
Taylor
Adam
Wright
Urena.
Rawls.
Javaden went
Perfectly
13 for
thrown
24
ball by
for
Javaden.
191
He did
yards and a touchdown
great job
last
against
week. But
Wagner
to be
last
fair,
week.
he really didn't have to
And
do
then
much
Mercyhurst
because last
ran.
week it was
He threw
Trebell
it,
going
between
for
2
206
defenders.
all-purpose yards and
Perfectly.
you know, pretty much leading the
Javaden
way.
will remain out, 3rd and 3.
75 of the
That was a
191 passing
14-yard
yards
completion to Taylor
Javaden
Wright
had on that
Rawls.
one
Swinging out
completion
left
to
side.
Trebell that
This one
went for a
collected, good
touchdown.
for a first down. Ooh, and just avoiding a big hit.
Sliding under that
Joe
big
Kerbacher
hit.
with the reception and the first down.
Joe
And Javaden
Kerbacher, the
bringing new
senior
life into this
from
offense as he
Pennsylvania.
collects 14 yards on his first pass and a first down on his second.
So Javaden's a sophomore
Taylor
from
Wright Rawls will go
Pittsburgh,
to
so
the
right
bottom
in
of your
Duquesne's
screen. Javaden will stay
own
at
backyard,
quarterback,
getting an
8:35
opportunity
to
here. He
go.
won a state title in 2022, Mount Lebanon High
Lakers are
School,
just past half field.
Pennsylvania state champion.
Javaden nearly gets a jump there. Javaden, he'll take this one. Step way back into the pocket.
See, now
throw
there's
this
all
one
kind of
forward.
time. Adam
Ooh,
Urena is probably watching
awkward
that and
little
saying, where was
landing
that
there
kind of
from
pocket
Joe
when I was up
Kerbacher,
there?
collects the second straight pass.
Urena sacked
no
4
gain.
times here
If not,
today.
loss of a
Meanwhile,
half
Javaden
yard.
is off to a 3-for-3 start,
Brought down
throwing the football for 24
by
yards.
Avery Morris.
He, of course, had the scoop and score on the fumble back in the second quarter. They do credit Kerbacher with a 2-yard gain to make it 2nd and 8 on the 47-yard line. Clock ticking down, 7:50 left to go. Javaden, quick pass, immediately met.
Well, that's
immediately
immediately
brought down.
snuffed out.
It'll be a
TJ
3rd down
Jones,
and
the
long.
senior defensive back. And this is where,
Javaden has
especially on
completed every pass. Will
Duquesne's
go
side
out
here,
now, is back
they have
in
a
the game.
30-point lead.
Comes Urena.
That was a nice defense.
Getting to about halfway through the fourth quarter. This is where they're able to test some of their depth, where they can get some. I mean, they do have some of their starters in. I can see on their defensive line, they got some of their big names still in there, but you can mix in, mix out some guys who usually don't get that many reps, can now
Brian
get some reps
Trobel.
here.
Right alongside his quarterback.
This is only going to help
Urena.
Duquesne going forward if
Take
they
the
can get
snap
some of their
between the R
guys
and the
some
S of the Mercyhurst logo at
live
center field.
in-game reps.
He's hit in the backfield, gets out of it, keeps running forward, looking for an open man.
Urena trying to run
Little
for his
shuttle
life,
pass, that
little
one deflects off the
sidearm
arms of
pass
both
there.
the defender
Little
and his
Patrick
intended recipient
Mahomes.
of Taylor Wright Rawls.
Matthew Stafford trying to
4th
sling it
down
out
and
from his
10.
hip.
6:59 left to
And
go.
we got a
The
4th
offense
down.
stalls.
Mercyhurst
Right
1
at
for 2 on
midfield.
4th down here today.
Urena looking over to the sideline to see
One
if
of the
he'll
most
stay
aggressive 4th down teams in the country.
What do you have to lose?
in. Yeah, no
I
reason
wouldn't
to
say
punt
they've been
a
aggressive
30-point
today. I think they've
deficit.
been in need today.
you're building for
having-
next week. You're
on some of
building
these
for
4th downs that
Stone
they've gone for.
You're
But
still,
4th
with the
down
loss
opportunity
today,
here.
again, assuming that a miraculous
For
comeback
10
will
to
not
go.
occur for the Mercyhurst
4th and 10.
Lakers. You're still 2-1 in the NEC. You still have a lot of positivity to build on, and you got to get back to right. Urena takes the snap. under
Urena
center, outlet
slings
pass
it out
left
to the
wing
side.
Ooh, good little connection
Long
right
way to
there.
go
You hear the
for
pads pop right
Rodriguez.
in front of us.
And
And that was
not
Ariana
gonna make it.
Rodriguez, the senior. Makes a run up the field, maybe gets about 3 or 4 yards.
so he had a long way to go to move the stick. So instead, it's
Well,
going to
the
be a
chains are moving
turnover on
backwards.
downs. And now
And
Duquesne,
of course, that will be a
if
turnover
they keep
on
running it on the
downs.
ground, they can maybe
Job
take
done
this
by
thing
the
just
defense of
about
the
all the
Dukes.
way down.
Drive went for 34 yards before stalling.
So let's take a look
Right
at how
now,
the standings are going to
fans
shape
of
out here.
Mercyhurst aren't happy,
When
the
Duquesne
alums
wins this
aren't
game, they're
happy,
going to go to 3-0.
players
Central
aren't
Connecticut
happy,
State
the
is
coaches
3-0.
aren't happy,
Again, those were the two
the
teams that
announcers
played in
aren't
that
happy.
winner-take-all game
It's not
at
been
the
a
end of
happy night
last
for
season. And it was
Mercyhurst.
Duquesne who
They
turned the
trail
football over
30-0
8
and
times,
7 to go.
allowing Central
Duquesne
Connecticut
has
State
the
to pull
ball.
that one out and win the automatic
6:50
bid
remaining
to
here,
the
period, the
FCS
fourth
playoffs.
quarter of action.
Mercyhurst, they're still going to
1st and
be
10 due up for the
2-1
Dukes.
after this game.
Day is done for Redell And up the field,
looks like Redell's going to come out. So the backup quarterback now for Duquesne, who we saw come in and take a snap earlier, Logan Kushner, he's going to come in and try to finish this one out. So Mercyhurst is going to be a game back of the leaders, but they'll lose the head-to-head tiebreaker against Duquesne. They play Central at the end of the season. And again, Mercyhurst not eligible this year for the FCS playoffs. At the moment, that's scheduled for 2028 when they would first be eligible. Stonehill is still 1-1. Their game today against Yale, not a conference game, so they're still 1-1. LIU, with their victory over Robert Morris, evens their conference record at 2-2. We have not seen a team, well, we have only seen teams in the NEC with 2 losses win conference titles twice. In the 29-year history previously in this league, only twice has team with 2 losses won the conference title. But LIU still keeping their championships hopes alive behind Lucas Stanzani earlier this afternoon with the victory over Robert Morris. They'll be 2-2, tied with Stonehill at 500 at the moment. New Haven will forever be 500 this year. They don't play a conference schedule, full conference schedule. So they're 0-0, 4-3 overall. Then you have Wagner, who's going to fall to 0-2. Robert Morris at 0-3, and St. Francis, who didn't play this week, at 0-2. So Wagner, Robert Morris, St. Francis, all still looking for their first NEC win, as is New Haven, but New Haven will have to wait till next year to get their first official NEC win. And that kind of leads to the schedule next week. Week 9, Central Connecticut is going to be on a bye, but all other teams are active next week. Duquesne will be at Wagner. We saw how Wagner battled Central today. We'll see what they have left when they welcome in Duquesne next week. It's going to be Halloween on the Hill next week. Halloween at Hamline Field. Crazy things could happen. Duquesne, Wagner, and I believe it's going to be one of our NEC TV games on ESPN+, so make sure you check that one out. Noon start time. Stonehill will be at Mercyhurst, so Mercyhurst going to welcome in the Skyhawks next week, as Mercyhurst will be trying to get back on the winning track. So will Stonehill after the way that they lost today to Yale. New Haven will be at LIU. That will be an unofficial conference game for both sides. LIU trying to keep momentum going. We know under Coach Cooper, they love the final quarter of the season, the final 4 or 5 games. They got the rest of the league right where they want them. That's when the Sharks come alive. So we'll see what happens. AJ Duffy and the Chargers back after their bye at LIU. That's 1 p.m. next week. And then Robert Morris will be at St. Francis. Again, a Keystone State clash. St. Francis will be off there by 3 p.m. hosting the Colonials. Colonials got their quarterback back this week. We saw a little bit of a run game as well. They were competitive in that game earlier today against LIU till the very end. So we'll see. Robert Morris, St. Francis, both those teams looking for their first conference win of the season, and one of them will get it next week in that head-to-head matchup. So that is your Week 9 schedule coming up next week. That is how the standings will look once this game becomes final. Should shape up for quite a race the rest of the way in the NEC. Duquesne looking for the first time ever to win 3 conference championships in a row. Central Connecticut looking to go back to the FCS playoffs for a second straight year. Some unfinished business.
Reads the defense pre-snap. Takes this one. He'll give it out to Hopkins. Hopkins, nothing
wide open around the right side to the end zone for a touchdown. Pretty much untouched.
36-0.
And that's going to make it 36-0. Look at Hopkins. Once he got to the edge, there was nobody there. All the way to the end zone for the touchdown.
Coming in as an unbeaten team, they will
16-yard touchdown run for number 26. And for Duquesne, 351 rushing yards here on the night. Mercyhurst just 11 rushing yards on the day.
And now 36 to the Dukes with a point after coming.
You look at some of these big runs that Duquesne has had. 59-yard run for Davis. That was their second touchdown. Solomon had a 19-yard run. Taj, the running back, his largest run was 10. Hopkins, the 16-yard run, was his biggest of the game. Even the quarterback, Tyler Redell, had a 23-yard scamper. All these running backs not just putting up big numbers, they're putting up big chunk runs. Mercyhurst
Duquesne came
their
to
run
play. A
defense
slow
really did
start
not
for the
have an
Lakers is
answer
something
today.
they've
And as the
never
game
overcome.
goes
Offensive
on, they're
struggles.
getting worn
A
out.
game
They've been
that I
on the
don't
field.
believe, based on what I've
What's the time
seen
of possession
from
right
the
now?
tape, is we're about
It's been
8 games into the season for the Mercyhurst Lakers. Not a game that's
time
indicative
of possession
of the team that
33
they
minutes
are.
to
It's
22
one of
minutes.
those
They've
nights
been
where
on the field
you get this budding
for
rivalry
33
game,
minutes.
and you get
They've
gut
been
punched,
gassed
but you
at
get a
this point
chance
in the
to
game.
reset next
So
week
it's not
against,
getting
against
any easier.
another
Those
NEC
6, 7,
opponent
8-yard
in
runs from the first
the
half are
Stone-
now those
Stonehill, and
16-yard
the Lakers,
runs
they'll
here
just
late
look
in the
to
fourth quarter.
course correct and get themselves back into their winning ways.
Mercyhurst prior to tonight had shut out Duquesne twice, 20-0 in 1985 here in Erie, and then 27-0 in 1989 here in Erie. Well, here in Erie tonight,
The only
it's
question
Duquesne,
left in this game,
37
pretty
to
much, is
Mercyhurst nothing.
this Duquesne defense going
With
to
this victory,
record a shutout?
moved
The
to 3-7
Lakers
and
were
one
shut out
against
earlier
the
this
Lakers,
season
having
at
won two
Montana
straight.
State, 17-0, and now they're getting shut out here at home,
Will have lost
37-0.
its third night game this season.
Can they put something
They'll
together
be
here in the
0-3
final
in that category.
4 minutes?
And should this score hold, this will be the first time Duquesne has shut out the Lakers in their
Now,
meetings.
Muff on the
in this
kickoff,
series
able to
history.
scoop it
Fumbled
up
on
at the
the
20.
kick return, but turns into positive yardage.
All right,
Really
they'll get
gutty
something
effort
there
on the
across the
kick return. You
35-yard
drop the ball,
line
you keep it
on the
going
kick
forward,
return.
And you do get this one to about the 36-yard line. So here
So
you go.
perhaps
you know the
one
game's
last
over if you're the Lakers,
grasp
but it's not about
for
that. What do you want to do to get yourself some pride?
Mercyhurst
get on
here,
the
again,
scoreboard,
under
and
4
look
minutes
ahead
to
next
play
Saturday against Stonehill.
in
This
regulation.
is a drive that
So
you're not
again,
playing for the-
we
you're
want
playing
to,
for
as we
just
get to the
remembering
final
what that
moments here,
pride is. And again,
we want to
the Lakers
thank
have had
those of you
strong
who've been with
season
us here,
to start the
tuning in
NEC.
to see
They will
what the
drop
heck
to
is
2-1.
going on here on the
Duquesne will
NEC
move up to
YouTube.
3-0.
We thank you
But
for
still,
joining us. This is
a-
first
a
time ever
very
trying it,
prideful
doing
team,
some
just their
streaming,
second year in the
a
FCS,
live
and
watch
I
along
think
with
they
this
proved a lot of
Mercyhurst
people wrong
Duquesne
of what a
game,
transition from
and
D2
we're
to D1 can look
literally
like.
putting this
Competitive
together,
games against
stringing
some
this
of the top
together on
teams
the
in the
fly.
FCS. Just not their night tonight, and all credit in the world to Duquesne for the way that they came
I'm
into this
over
game.
here. I was
Game
over here
plan
giving
ready,
some recipes
execution
earlier
ready,
on.
and currently with just 3:52
Who
left,
knows?
they are pitching
This
a
might be
shutout.
first time, might be the last time. Maybe
the
we
way,
do this
I would
again.
be
If we
remiss
do
if
this
I didn't
again, certainly we'll try to
congratulate
improve it.
Mercyhurst for
Maybe
this
get some guests.
renovated press
Maybe
box.
get
It's beautiful. Brand new one here in
a stronger
2025.
bandwidth. Try to get
press
a
box,
clearer picture for you. Try to get some
was
audio.
erected in 1996 and got
I think it would be really cool. And also maybe some different platforms. We're on YouTube today. Maybe we try doing some Twitch. NEC twitching could be. So who knows? So this was a good, fun test. We thank those people for hanging with us here on a Saturday night that tuned in to see what in the world is going on. If you ever wondered what it's like to sit and hang out and watch a game with Craig D'Amico, which I'm sure nobody wondered that, but here you go. We got our answer tonight. And we really got to see just how strong this Duke's team is. A lot of people, oh my God, that was batted. Was that intercepted? Almost. Almost a ridiculous deflection there. That would have been the chef's kiss to end it for this Duquesne defense as they try to pitch the shutout tonight. But a lot of people thought Duquesne was the favorite coming into the season. Still, people gave their respect to Central Connecticut State because they were the reigning champions, the team that went to the FCS playoffs, that beat Duquesne head-to-head last year. But obviously, it's a new year, new team, so we don't know. Duquesne, I don't want to say they weren't tested, but they didn't have the most strenuous schedule so far in their first 3 conference games, 2 official, 1 unofficial. This one was really the first one that kind of perked people's eyebrows. Like, okay, let's see how good this Duquesne team really. Mercyhurst is up and coming. They got a great quarterback. They figured out their run game. Their defense has been playing better the last couple weeks. They're getting turnovers. They're getting sacks.
Well, it's one thing to lose.
Let's see.
It's
well,
another thing to lose
we saw.
and be shut out in the process.
we saw tonight. Duquesne is still pretty good. And now I think everyone's going to be looking at Duquesne to keep doing what they're doing until they get to that game with Central Connecticut State towards the end of the season.
To show that even in the face of resiliency and losing in what is going to become a rivalry, as you can tell just based on the way that this game has gone, how do you respond? McGuire skies another punt. This one will land at about the 20.
Oh, a muffed punt right there. It's up for grabs.
Unable to come up with it.
Looks like
the
Duquesne recovered, and they did.
That ball ball had landed, but the Dukes have had the bounce.
See, like I said earlier here on in this live stream,
what some people
you gotta love
would refer to as
you gotta love
time,
Coach Schmidt's
does
post game
not
press
bounce the way of the
conferences.
Lakers.
They're pretty much the same every week.
That
They beat
was
teams
a
by 30. And
unofficial
he's very
42-yard
stoic. He's
no
very
return.
that was good. Still got things to
Players are still
work on
talking
and
to each other,
improve.
although
We're getting to where we're going, and
friendly
we'll
conversation.
see what happens next week. So that's the kind of thing where he'll get on his guys. Like,
21-yard line,
won by 37, but we muffed a punt right there. So
Probably
and
see
you gotta
a
love
couple of
coaching like that.
rushes,
You
couple of first
strive for
downs,
perfection, but you never
and a
quite
few
reach
knees
it. Right?
to get
There's
that
always
bus
something
started
to
head back to
work on and
Pittsburgh.
improve on.
The 3-0 record. Knowing that Central Connecticut State got their job done tonight, you got to just keep doing yours.
By the way, this game
Tyler
was
Redell
originally scheduled for 7
didn't need
o'clock. I heard
ridiculous
Duquesne
numbers.
had an issue
6 for
with that.
13, a touchdown,
And
interception,
Mercyhurst,
79 yards
relinquished it and
passing.
moved the game up an
And
hour,
this
so
this might be the week again with
didn't
only
help the
79
situation,
yards
but
passing,
it was
1 touchdown.
originally
He's
scheduled
been in
until
my
for
top
7
3 on the
o'clock.
podcast all year
Well,
long,
may have
pretty
been
much
a
at my
good
3
integrity
stars.
move on the
This
Lakers
might
on
be
being
the
able
week.
to
I don't know that
accommodate
79 yards,
worked
1
out to the
touchdown on
Duquesne
13
favor.
pass
Certainly with
attempts
a 37
is enough to
lead,
keep
clock
him in the
continues
top
to
3.
run.
So this might
That
be the
rush was for
first time
negative
all
2
year that
yards,
he's
so
on the
second and
outside
12,
looking in
18.
from the top 3. But
And again, it does
again,
make you,
he might be
make
the
you curious
leader
again.
right now
There's
at the
been so
halfway
many
point,
divisional
past the halfway
levels.
point for
You know,
offensive
Duquesne
player of
started
the
as a
year in
club
this league.
football team. They moved
And
up to D3,
he's putting up
they've bounced
ridiculous
as have the
stats
Mercyhurst
in
Lakers, bounced around
half
the
of
different
games,
divisions that
3
they played
quarters
in,
of
but
games, because he's
only
not
this
in
to be
there
the
in the
11th
fourth
meeting
quarter.
all-time between
And then
two schools
today,
that are separated by just about 2
numbers that
hours.
are
Obviously,
good
things will
enough
change,
to have a
but,
37-0
interesting to
lead.
see historically, as that one is a trip-up play that results in about
It's
the
absolutely
21-yard
remarkable.
line.
As that'll take us to the 2-minute
Duquesne
timeout.
bench fired up. Their
Why
coaching
not?
staff, yeah, they came in as we reached the 2-minute warning. You came in knowing what was at stake. 2-0 teams. You're
So
going
2
on
minutes
the
to
road
play
to a
here in the
place that
fourth
has not
quarter in this
hosted a
one
loss yet this
at
season.
Saxon Stadium
Taking
in
on a
Erie,
team that wants to
Pennsylvania.
establish
Mercyhurst
itself
getting
in
ready. They'll
FCS,
host
and
Stonehill
what do? You come
next
here,
week.
you get
Duquesne
37
will
points
be
on the board.
still on the
What do you
road at
celebrate?
Wagner,
This
which
Duquesne
Central
team is
Connecticut
no
saw earlier
stranger
today is a
to
tough
success
place
in
to
the
play.
NEC. In fact, they are one of the gold standards. We talked about it earlier in the broadcast.
This is a
The
Duquesne
coach
team with
championships,
7
or championships that
national,
they have
7
won since they
conference
joined the NEC as a
championships,
football member.
back-to-back
In
years.
2008,
They've
they
never
won
won
outright
3
one
in a
this year,
row.
and
They have
Central
an
Connecticut State
awesome
waits to the end of the
opportunity
rainbow
to
for
do
them. They
that
can both take
this
care of business
season.
up until that
And
point.
their offense is maybe the best
Duquesne
that
has
we've
played
seen, and that's saying something
nearly
considering some of the weapons
flawlessly
that they've
tonight.
had the last couple of
Yeah,
years
they've
with
had
Darius
a
Parentes
penalty
at the
here and there.
controls.
But
Today,
Mercyhurst
431
just from the
yards of
start
offense
wasn't
over
in
the
it.
last
I don't know if they were
3
tight
games, all wins.
or Duquesne
They were
was
averaging
just
416
the better
yards of
team,
offense, so they're right
because
there at
Duquesne
their average
pounded
here
the
for the
ball on the
4th
ground
straight
and
game.
Eventually got a touchdown pass to start the parade of scoring at 7-0.
And now they're getting off
Third down
to
and 9.
great starts in the first quarter.
As we have surpassed
It's a
the 2-minute
dangerous team
warning.
that's just getting more dangerous
Kushner will take
as the
this one
season
himself,
goes along.
rush up the field,
Kushner's
down
gonna
his back.
take it
Short
for
of the first down
himself, and the
marker,
only thing he
and goes
didn't
out
do
of
well
bounds.
right
The
there
clock
is that he
will
didn't
stop.
stay in bounds. He stepped out of bounds
No,
to
they
stop
will
the
say that
clock.
This one was properly on the right side of the first down. And it will be a new set of downs for Kushner's offense.
153 left
Kushner,
in
since
this
coming in, they haven't asked him to
Mercyhurst
throw the
coaching
football. It's
staff
been
will
run, which appropriately is how this game started
coaches just
for
toss a video away, not even
the
bother
Duquesne
looking
Dukes.
at
They
it.
ran it
Just get back to work.
every
In this
single
case,
play
getting prepared
for 9
Stonehill,
plays in a
because
row
there's
to
nothing
start the game, and
other
then on the
than
10th
drive to
play,
start the third quarter.
Riddell found Joey Isabella for a 20-yard touchdown pass. So
And
9
the
straight runs to
defense
start the
Mercyhurst
game,
played for the most part
and
in
now
the
it's
second half,
going to be
albeit
all these
against,
consecutive
Duquesne
runs for the
reserves.
Dukes to finish the game. Mercier still has all
Hopkins on the
3
run.
timeouts. They're not going to use them, though.
Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Clock will run.
As the clock is going to
No reason for anybody to
start
stop
to
the
run
clock
here.
right now.
Now this is a sour taste in the mouth.
So
for
look at
what was
not quite the
so
final stats,
anticipated from the
but
Mercyhurst
rush
side.
yards
We again talked about the
363
tremendous fan
to
support
12.
tonight, the pregame
Total
concert.
yards
But for the Lakers, if you wanna take a
442
silver
to
lining from this, and obviously this
118.
game didn't go the way
Each
that you wanted
team
it to,
with a
but
takeaway.
You got to be in a game like this early
Time
on
of
in your
possession,
FCS
33
program
minutes to about
history.
23
It's
minutes.
just your second year here, and to have a
Duquesne,
marquee
4 for 8
matchup
on
that was
third down.
really a game of the
Mercyhurst,
week,
5
have
for
it on your
15
home
on
turf.
third down.
Again,
Duquesne,
results
they
aside,
got up
that is a
early,
great thing for the
sustained a
Mercyhurst
drive, drive, then scored on a quick play, while Mercyhurst got behind the sticks. 2nd and long, 3rd and long. Their first 3 drives were all 3 and outs, and they were well in the hole before they were even able to get anything going on offense. So that start kind of set them from behind and never quite got them in this game, and Duquesne was able to take it from there. So that's how we spend our Saturday night here on this first ever NEC Football on the Run watch along.
Well, they have no other alternative.
First ever, last ever, who knows if we do this again, but again, certainly if we do, we'll get bigger and better as we figure out more things here. But Duquesne has it all figured out right now as they try to march towards another title. They're going to run a jet sweep play here. One of the rare plays this entire game that's going to result in a loss running the football for the Dukes. And yeah, Mercier's getting up and celebrating. I don't know why you're getting up and celebrating a tackle like that when you're down 37-0 on and the team's just trying to run out the clock to beat you. That's been the chirpiness that we've seen today, and this very much could be rivalry of the future.
The Duquesne Dukes come in a 2-0 matchup.
So that'll do it. The clock hit 0, and the Duquesne Dukes defeat the Mercyhurst Lakers 37-0. They literally run away with it. 360 rushing yards for the Dukes. Duquesne 3-0 in league play. They're tied with Central Connecticut atop the standings here after week 8. Mercyhurst, they're right there in 3rd at 2-1. The Lakers will be back hosting Stonehill next week at noon. Duquesne will be at Wagner at noon. That'll be one of our ESPN Plus games, so make sure you tune in to that one. These two rivals separated by just about 2 hours, 128 miles. Today separated by about 37 points. It was Duquesne big on the road at Saxon Stadium. Well, that'll just about do it for us here on this watch along. If you made it this far, really, thank you. We bless your heart. First ever NEC Football on the Run live stream watch along. Maybe we do it again, or maybe we never do it again. But we thank you for being along with us here for this experiment. Be sure to check out our NEC Football on the Run podcast, our weekly podcast over on the NEC Overtime Pod. It's available Fridays, a brand new episode wherever you get your podcast. So until Friday, when we talk to you again on the podcast, and maybe next week if we do this again, I'm Craig D'Amico. Thanks for checking in, and have a wonderful Saturday night. Duquesne wins it over Mercyhurst 37-0.
This is awesome, bro. This is what the Devils thrive in.
Millie, say hi to the camera.
The LIU Sharks are champions.
Central Connecticut, they win the NEC. There is Paquette, and she somehow beat the shot clock with a scoop.
Oh, what a move by Malachi Davis.
The Seahawks' first ever NEC Women's Indoor Crown.
And the goal for the NEC regular season title. It's Lemoyne.
LIU has done it. Back-to-back championships.
The Cougars have won the NEC championship.
With FDU Knights, absolutely perfect.